What's going on? What's going on, film fam? Welcome to another episode of Chopping Willie in the Morning, brought to you by Let the Film Speak. I am one of your hosts, Chop, here with my main man, Willie Jack. Willie Jack, how you living this morning?
It's 10 o'clock. It's Sunday morning, man. I'm ready to get football Sunday started, man. I'll talk about my dogs. I'm ready to go.
That's right, man. As we always are, man. Sundays, man, they just so exciting for me every morning, man. Every time I wake up on a Sunday morning, I know it's football today, so I'm always excited, man. We got some games coming up, and we got some stuff to look forward to. Of course, y'all know this is the preview show, man. So we're gonna go through each and every game from week 3, even the Thursday night recap. We're gonna go through that, man. It's a big week for a few teams, man. We got some 0-2 teams that are in need of their first win. I mean, some teams that were in the playoffs last year. So we got some teams like that. You know, we got some other teams with some injuries, man, that need wins. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. So we definitely gonna jump into that. But before we do that, we got to talk about the house rules, Willie Jack. That's like, that's share, that's subscribe, man. Tap in with your boys. You know, if you in here right now, check in with us. We already had my dog Miles. He was in there letting us know, hey, man, that time is ticking, man.
Oh, yeah, he's bringing fresh to the dough.
I got fantasy decisions, you know what I'm saying, for these games today, man. He need us in here. So, hey, without further ado, Miles, we are here, and I guarantee you, man, we're gonna make sure you got what you need for these fantasy games, man, and for these outcomes. So, man, if you ain't here, tap in with your dogs, man. Become the newest member of the film fan. We appreciate all the love, man. Y'all talk to us, we talk back. And lastly, don't forget to hit that notification bell. How else are you going to know when me and Willie Jack got something cooking in the kitchen, when we got something coming up? All right, hit that notification bell. Join us, and I guarantee you we will not let you down. All right. First announcement of the day, man. The same thing I say each and every week. Get your picks in. If you are a part of the weekly pick 'em, get them picks in. You got into 11:55 a.m. Central Time to get those picks in, because once those games lock, hey, ain't no changing, man. So make sure y'all get all those picks in right now. We already told you, man, who's the top 3 as of right now. Miles still sitting up the top, Sierra right behind him, and then I got my wife, man. She right behind Sierra, man. So those are top 3 right now, but it won't be for long at all. You know, I'm just sitting back lurking. My dog Willie Jack said he lurking too, so don't worry about it. We coming, all right. So make sure y'all get y'all picks in. But first, Willie Jack, I think it's about time, man. We talk about that Thursday night game, man. We had a Thursday night game. The Giants, they went to San Francisco to take on the 49ers, man. The 49ers came away with a W. They win this one 30-12. Willie Jack, what was your take on this one?
Ooh, excuse me. Hold on, man. Give me 1 second. Go ahead and get started real quick.
But don't worry about it. I'll jump into it first. And for me, man, it was back to normal for the 49ers. You know, back to normal. The things we were used to seeing all last year, the things we saw, you know, it was just routine. You know, the first 2 weeks was like a fill out for the 49ers in terms of, all right, or are they going to look the same? You know, are they going to be that will or machine that we described all last year? And now I think they're starting to get into that groove, and we saw that in week 3. You know, and it was, like I said, the same stuff. Mr. Two Tubs, he had two touchdowns again this past game. C-Mac over 100 yards from scrimmage, and then after that, it's whose day is it today? Is it Debo's day? Is it Kittle's day? Is it Ayuk's day? Now, excuse me. Ayuk was out this game, so it happens to be a little bit of Debo and a little bit of Kittle, and actually not a little bit, a lot of bit of Debo and a lot of bit of Kittle. You know what I mean? Debo had over 100 yards in the touchdown. Kittle 90 yards. So they kind of spread their ball around, man. And then that defense did what they always do. They dominated, you know. So they took care of business on that Thursday night game. And then for the Giants, man. And here's the thing: to be fair for them, the 2 games that they lost were probably the top 2 teams in the NFL right now, which was the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, you can argue that a little bit. You can probably throw another name or 2 in there. But for sure, without any debate, these are top 4 teams that they played in those games. But at the same time, we expect y'all to look better than that. What y'all have shown in those 2 games, okay? Through their first 3 games, we really only seen 2 quarters of good football from the Giants. And coming off of the season they came off last year, we expect a little bit more from them. We expect them to be a little bit better. That you paid your quarterback. That's your guy. You want him to do better. You just want to see more from this team. You want to see more from Darren Waller, who you brought over to be your number 1 weapon. You know, you want to see some more from a lot of these guys. Now, they were missing Saquon Barkley as well, but it's just more that you want to see. But just business as usual for San Francisco. They came in, took care of business, and they came away with the W.
No, and I think you summed it up pretty well. And actually, you make a good point as far as the teams that they face. Now, outside of an ugly half of football in Arizona, but they and if we take out the second half of that game, then for 10 of the day 12 quarters, they got absolutely spanked. They got stomped. They were down 20-0 in that Arizona game as well. You know what I mean? So, they scored 12 in this San Francisco game, but I mean, it's been ugly football. So they've got 12 points across 10 quarters if we take out the second half of that Arizona game. And so the biggest thing for me with this Giants team, now I'll say this: they were a playoff team last year, and they were fugazi last year for me as well. I never bought into that, and I didn't have many expectations for them this year, regardless of the $40 million they gave Daniel Jones. Shout out to you, Daniel Jones. But the biggest thing is, though, they have no offensive identity. They have no offensive. They have I don't even see any upward trajectory of the offense. Like there's just nothing there. So you've already got Saquon who's out or who was out of this game. Breida has 4 carries for less than 20 yards. And then on the in the passing game, you bring over Darren Waller. He's meant to be the focal point of this offense because they have, the coverage are bare outside, and that was an issue last year as well. And they haven't been able to kind of get him going as well. But in the same token, I guess he's the only legitimate threat in the passing game. And so if he's the only thing you've really got to worry about, and then even your worry level on him, I mean, you don't go to DEFCON 2 for Darren Waller, not for what we've seen this far, and he hasn't been healthy in probably 2-3 years. And so there's just nothing to build on offensively. And so the outlook for these Giants, boys, it's ugly. I mean, and I don't know what the rest of that schedule looks like, but I'm telling you what, bro, this could be this for a team that, I mean, if we have to call them a playoff team from last year, but this could very well be a team that goes from a playoff team to one of them teams sniffing around a top 5, top 6 pick, bro. I mean, it's ugly football, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And then that defense, which turned into a pretty stout unit last year, Dexter Lawrence being as dominant a force as he was, that defense, like I said, we haven't really seen be able to be a saving force, I guess, for the porous offense. And I can speak to that because that's how I feel about my Steelers. Man, the offense is so terrible, but the defense can at least kind of give us a chance or help us steal one, and they don't even have that going. So, man, it's dark clouds circling around New York, both New York teams at this point.
Yeah. Well, next week they have Seattle, so I think that's more of a matchup that we can give a little bit more of an accurate description of who we think the Giants are going to be. This is a team that's kind of closer to their level in terms of the play, and it's like Arizona was complete bottom of the barrel, and then you had 2 at the top and lead. So Seattle's kind of right in that mix. Could possibly be a playoff team. May not be. Like teams like similar, like I said, similar trajectories or could have similar outcomes. So
that's Chop speaking. Big Gino going to the dance, baby. You know what I'm saying? The Big Gino's going to the dance. That's a tough matchup.
That's fine, but neither me or you would say Seattle is a top team in this league. Let's get that clear. They're not Dallas or San Francisco. Let's be clear with that.
I wouldn't go that far yet.
Not yet.
They got some time, man.
Whatever, Willie Jack. Whatever. We'll jump into that, man. But now, Willie Jack, I think it's about time for us to get into the previews. But before we do that, man, hey, let's do a film check-in, man. Who in the building? I think we had some people up in these comments, man. Who done stepped in? Who fell off in the building and checked in with your boys?
No, for sure, man. A couple of members in the building bright and early, man. Our dog Miles is in the building, man. 11:01. Now he's Eastern Standard Time, man. So he was in here first through the door, man. Came in with his hand out. Come on, man. He came in asking for advice. He dropped 4 names in the chat. He still got Kadarius Toney on your bench. Why is he on your squad? What roster spot is Kadarius Toney taking on your bench, bro? Go ahead and cut that cord.
See, the signs keep showing. You know what I'm saying? This dude is supposed to be an all-out Steelers fan, but he's keeping Kansas City Chiefs Kadarius Toney on his bench. For what reason? I don't know. Other than you just playing with your heart. You got Kadarius Toney on your bench. You a Chiefs fan.
Hey, look, man. I'm going to tell you like they told me, man. If you think you love 2 women or if you think you love 2 men, choose the second one. Because, choose the second one, man. We didn't let Miles go, man. We've accepted it. We've accepted that Miles had his heart stolen by a redhead in Kansas City. And it's all good, man. You know what I'm saying? But don't come back.
It sound like you just want to ride the hot wave. That's what it just sounds like to me.
Hey, that might be what it is. And then, of course, man, we got wifey Sis Boyd's in the building for sure. Mom Deuce is in the building as well. Mom, appreciate you as always. And then I see a couple of more of y'all views here, but y'all ain't tapped in the chat, man. So go ahead, holler us in the chat so I can shout you out.
Those last few names you named sound like people that's all in the weekly pick'em, and that sound like all people that's gonna lose to me. I'm sorry, baby. I love you. You know what I'm saying? You my wife. You know what I mean? And when I finish the show, I'm gonna come hug on you. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to this weekly pick'em, I'm gonna have to come at your neck. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. I'm sorry, but hey, that's just the name of the game.
Hey, hold on, and wait, and my dog Miles, man, he back in the chat. He said he got Pickett as a QB. Now I'm not gonna lie to you. That's pretty strong, man.
I guess he's a fan of Pittsburgh QB.
Pickett ain't my QB, I tell you that.
Hey, he got faith, man. We're gonna see.
Hey, yeah, that's pretty strong. Yeah, that's pretty strong. I get it.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and start rolling into some of these games, Willie Jack. Man, the first game on the docket, we got Tennessee going to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Willie Jack, who you got in this one?
Oh man, Tennessee handling business, man. Mike Vrabel takes his Tennessee Titan teams to.
I should have known you was going.
Oh man, come on, man. You already know what's going on, man. Mike Vrabel's gonna get them boys ready to go. 24-20 on the road in Cleveland. Now this is actually gonna be. I'm actually excited to see this one because I think this is gonna be a defensive slugfest. Is what I'm anticipating, and so I'm all for that. And so I definitely want to see how Jerome Ford looks week one as the full-fledged starter. Now he came in and shocked the hell out of us, man. And had a very big day against my Steelers last week with the Nick Chubb situation, and so I want to see him. Like I said, start from scratch and see what he does with this opportunity as well. Are we going to see Kareem Hunt in this game? Like, is he active?
He is expected to play, and that was the part I was going to add to that with the Jerome Ford. Of course, Jerome Ford is going to play, but I also want to see what Kareem Hunt, what style of role does he have in this very first game? Are they going to try to work him in? And does he eventually become the starter, or is the coach true to his word? Is he going to just ride Jerome Ford, man, until the wheels fall off? So I'm anxious to see that too.
Okay, no, and I like to see that as well. Honestly, I'd be surprised if Kareem Hunt played more than like 2 series worth of snaps. Just because even if the offensive or in the playbook is probably he could probably pick that up just fine and maybe whatever they've tweaked, but he's got to get his legs up. He's got to get his hands up, his legs up, and so for that reason, I don't know how much we'll see him in this game, but no, I mean I like Tennessee on the road to get this done. It was just ugly football by Deshaun Watson last week, and honestly, the task doesn't get any easier this week against a very stingy and very well disciplined and well coached Tennessee Titans defense that's coming to town as well. And so I'm taking Mike Vrabel and the Titans 24-20 to get this done on the road.
Gotcha. And I'm with you too, Willie Jack. I'm going Tennessee as well. I do think it's going to be a close game and a very exciting game. I got them winning 27-24. And for me, it came down to, just I guess you can call it the it factor. Some teams find a way to win. Some teams find a way to lose. And they both did the opposite last week. You know what I'm saying? Cleveland gave up 2. They still scored 2 defensive touchdowns, off those turnovers, man. And that was a difference in that particular game. And Tennessee, they found a way to win in overtime against the Chargers. They found a way. They put it together, and they did what they needed to do. And to me, that's going to be the difference in this game. I think Tennessee – in this game, just like they did last week, I think they come out, they find a way to win, and I think they're successful. I think we finally see a little bit more from this run game. I think we're gonna see a little bit more from D-Hop too. A little bit more from D-Hop. D-Hop has been involved in these games for sure, but I think we're gonna see a little bit more. We're gonna see a D-Hop that looks a little bit more like the old D-Hop in the past. So I'm anxious to see, how this game kind of plays out. But I think Tennessee, they come, they fight. They get their run game going, and they find a way to somehow get a turnover late in the game that's going to help them out and win this in a close one. I got 27-24.
No, I'm not going to lie, boy. That's a good – if Diop shows up in this one, because that Brown secondary has been pretty nasty, man, these first few weeks. Denzel Ward looks like he's back in form as well, so especially if he gets any I don't know if they'll full-fledged travel with Hop. I doubt so. I mean, that it's not necessarily that time anymore where you just got to have your dedicated guy to him. But no, I definitely want to see that matchup. See what Hop looks like against Denzel Ward, man, since he looks to be back on brand, at least for this early part of the season. And then real quick, man, before you move on, we got them members back in the building, man. Our dog, man, Isaiah Holmes in the building, man. He's calling the Browns upset. Watson bounces back at pride and plays well. And so I wouldn't mind seeing, man, a flash of that that old Deshaun, man. 'Cause he wasn't
Yeah.
exciting young guy at the time before in that first stint of his career. So if he does, man, I think he's going to have to play well because I think this Tennessee defense is going to capitalize on any mistakes or whatnot that may happen. They were also pretty penalized in that last game they played against us as well, just as a team. So it's undisciplined football, man. So yeah, Watson will definitely have to show up and play very well, man. If they're going to get one over on this Titans defense, in my mind.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it as well. I want to see a good Deshaun Watson or that old Deshaun Watson makes for just more good football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just don't know, just based off what I've seen so far, if I can truly count on them, especially with Nick Chubb being out. You know what I mean? Say what you want, that's definitely a downgrade, Nick Chubb to Jerome
Oh, no,
Ford,
for sure.
either one. You know, so you don't have as much of their run game to lean on. It's really going to be on you. So he's going to have to come out and show out and do his thing. So I want to see that too. If he does, hey, I want to see it. I want to see it. So
No, for sure. And one more time, your score, man. You said 27-20 or 27-20?
27-24. 27-24. I
I
got Tennessee over Cleveland.
Gotcha.
All right. On to the next one, Willie Jack. I got Atlanta going to Detroit to take on the Lions, man. And this is another one of those games where I feel like this could be a sneaky good game. The only thing is, man, the Detroit comes into this game, they're really banged up, man. And just to name a few players that are out for sure, Taylor Decker is out, Emmanuel Mosley is out. And then there's the who's Frank Ragnow, he's out in this particular game. And then they're banged up. They got some guys that's questionable. Now, Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of those guys that's questionable, but I think he is going to play. He's going to find a way to get out there. And there's a few other guys that are banged up as well. So this Lions team comes into this game where normally I would feel a little bit more confident in picking them to win this game. It makes it a little bit iffy. And this is also a game that they need. They coming off of they're 1-1 right now. Coming off of a loss last week to Seattle, which, you know, was a hard-fought game. And they going against a team, Atlanta, that, you know, is pretty well put together, you know. And I would say, just based off when I watched them play, the one weak spot would probably be Desmond Ridder. I mean, that would be the one thing that I would say, because everywhere else, this team is solid. One of the best running backs. I think they got some solid weapons on the outside. You know, they haven't found a way to utilize them and get them going. But I think they're solid in that area. We know about the offensive line. They've added pieces to this defense. So this Atlanta team is going to Detroit, you know, with some confidence. You know, and Desmond Ridder, his confidence is starting to build. Will the play follow that or not? We'll see. But, you know, this is going to be a tough game, man. And I expect this one to actually come down to the wire. This Dan Campbell team is not going to lay down. They're going to fight to the end. And that's part of the reason why I'm going with Detroit in this one, man. I know the odds are stacked against them because of like some of the injuries and stuff like that. But I think they fight and they find a way to pull it out. I expect Amon-Ra St. Brown to kind of put this team on his back in this particular game. I expect him to come out and say, all right, I'm that guy. I'm the number one receiver over here. I expect him to step up and take another step forward towards the overall wide receiver rankings, man. Start moving up there, you know, closer to some of the bigger dogs. So I got this game being a really close game, but Detroit pulls it out. Maybe a last field goal, man. 27-26, 1 point game, man.
Oh,
Good one. I got Detroit pulling it out, though. I think they find a way somehow. Jared Goff makes a good play coming down the stretch, put them in position. They kick that field goal, win this game.
no, I got you. And honestly, man, the injuries on that offensive line are concerning for sure. Because you got Frank Ragnow, a top 5 center in this league. You've got Tyler Decker, who he may not be necessarily a premier guy at the position, but he's a very solid piece on that left side. Because we still got Penei Sewell on the right, and so man, that's 2/5 of your starting offensive line on a unit that's probably combined. That Detroit Lions offensive line unit is probably I think that's a top 5 line in the league when they're all healthy as well. So that could be big as well. But for me, man, this thing is gonna come down to until I know otherwise, man. Jared Goff going for 30. So I've got Jared Goff going for 30, and I don't know if Atlanta in that run game can get there, because the thing about the run game is you got to establish it early. The defense has got to hold, and then you really got to kind of salt the game away if you want to win this game behind the legs of Bijan Robinson. Because to this point, we haven't seen them be able to win a game behind the arm of Desmond Ridder. And so if it's going to be Bijan running the ball, which is dangerous and explosive and exciting for sure, but Detroit jumps out. If Detroit gets 14 points and Atlanta still has 3, well, then now I don't know what we do. I mean, we can use Bijan out the backfield as a weapon, etc. But I just don't know if necessarily they'll keep pace, because I don't think Desmond Ridder does enough in the passing game to truly balance, make it a balanced attack, and really kind of keep Detroit from just loading up that box and daring Desmond Ridder to take him up top with Drake London. You know what I mean? And so I think maybe they fall a little short there. I'm going Detroit 31, Atlanta 23.
Okay.
Oh, and then also, man, the members is back, man. Our dog Isaiah, he back in the building, man. He said Atlanta today by 2 scores. Now that's tricky. That means either that defense, it has to be that defense stamps out Detroit, because I can't see Detroit just boat racing. I can't see Atlanta just boat racing Detroit in a wild 34-20 style of game. And so, man, maybe he's got it a little lower scoring with that Atlanta defense just showing up. And you know what? Credit to that Atlanta defense, man, because they've been playing damn good. Jesse Bates is off to a very hot start in this young season. And I was going to shout out somebody else as well on that.
But see, that's the thing too. They getting a little bit more pass rush, man. They getting a little bit more. This is a team they've been looking for pass rush for a long, long time.
For sure.
And Bud Dupree hasn't played bad those first couple games, man. He hasn't played bad. So they get a little bit more.
Campbell down there now too. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna see if they can keep it going against this Detroit team and this week. If they can, I think that'll be huge for them in this game. So we'll see how that kind of plays out too.
Yep. And then one more comment from my dog Miles, man. He said the play calling in Atlanta's been trash. Any play that's not called to either hand the ball to Bijan or throw the ball to Bijan, I'm with you. If Bijan's not the number one option in either form of pass or run, then it's a bad call. I'm with you. Bijan needs to touch the ball as many times. If Bijan hands don't fall off in the game, man, I want to give Bijan the ball. So, yeah, I'm with
you. Yeah, I got you. All right, Willie Jack. On to the next one, man. On to this one. We got New Orleans going to Green Bay to take on the Packers. So you got in this one, Willie?
Man, I went back and forth on this game a little bit because maybe I'm still giving a little too much credit to playing in Green Bay. And then also, man, that the Green Bay defense, I think, is still going to be. I think they still have the potential to be a more dominant unit than they've shown a little bit this far. But that New Orleans Saints defense, man, I like that defense a lot at all levels. They're playing very, very well, especially on the back end there as well. And I mean, they're playing well all the way around. And then also that Saints offense, man, they're still kind of finding their way. Like I said, Derek Carr kind of still settling into his weapons, but we've seen, and he's already shown us that he can still expose folks. He can still take guys up top, and we know that Olave, it feels like Olave's name is still just a little quiet, but I think he's still a guy that, man, you look up and he's got 100 yards. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
I think he had first 2 weeks were pretty solid weeks. I know one of the weeks he had over 100 yards. The other one I think he may be a little bit short, but he's out there doing his thing, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's doing his thing, and I don't know, man. I feel like it's almost still kind of like quiet, like just how I think when Garrett Wilson came in and kind of just stole all that rookie class's juju, but Olave, I think, was better earlier in the year, and I think he didn't really taper off it so far in the second half. But Garrett Wilson really kind of took off the second half of last season. But all that told me, I think the Saints have too many weapons, too much talent. I still think for the things that we have seen from Jordan Love, where he has played well and he's looked sharp in spots, I think overall, I still want more consistency in his accuracy. But all told, man, I think that this one could be a tough, hard-fought one on the road for the Saints. I'm going 23-20. New Orleans getting it done.
All right, I got you, Willie Jack. And I also got New Orleans win this one. You got 23-20. I got 24-20. So we're very similar in the scores for this game, man. And for me, I think it's going to come down to the defense of New Orleans. Two things. The defense of New Orleans and then the offense of Green Bay still being without Aaron Jones. Okay? So the one thing about that offense when they have Aaron Jones on the field is they're not as dynamic with him off of the field. When he's on, he can do a lot more things coming out of the backfield than an A.J. Dillon or some of the other running backs that they have. You know what I'm saying? He's more of a weapon in the passing game. Like, you can do a lot of different things with Aaron Jones. So when you have him in that lineup, that opens up more just in general for that offense. And this New Orleans defense, we already know they're very, very stingy. Very, very stingy. They are good at all levels, you know, from the front to the back. You know, so when they come to this game, it's going to be easier to game plan for a Green Bay offense without Aaron Jones versus with him. You know, so I think that's going to play a huge role in the outcome in this particular game. I also think that with New Orleans, they got a guy over there, man, and I think he's going to surprise some people. It's another name Some of y'all may have heard him, a 3rd-round pick, man, and Kendre Miller. Okay, this is going to be his
Oh, the
first
running
week.
back. Yeah.
Yep, the running back. He's a rookie. This is going to be his first week active. Alvin Kamara is still out. Jamal Williams is now out. They just elevated Tony Jones off the practice squad last week. Kendre Miller is a very, very good running back, man. He's dynamic. He can do a lot of different things that Aaron Jones can do. Okay, now we haven't seen it on the field, but my prediction is that he's going to be my performer of the week this week, man. I'm going
Really?
Kendre Miller as my performer of the week, man.
Wow.
I picked over 100 yards from scrimmage and give him 2 touchdowns, man. 2 touchdowns
Wow.
from Kendre Miller, over 100 yards from scrimmage. I think he's going to be a very, very important option in this game for them. I think Taysom Hill, too, is going to add a little bit more to this offense too, and a lot more in terms of what they can do. I expect them to really focus on running the ball in this particular game, and then when the time comes, they got the weapons on the outside to get it done. Michael Thomas, like I already said, he's going to be the short reception type receiver, and you still got 2 guys that can bust your head over the top, and Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave. So either one of those guys can really stretch that coverage out, man. So I expect New Orleans, with all the different things they can do on offense and the lack of dynamicism.
There you go. Dynamicism.
I sound like Willie Jack right now.
There you go. Hey, go ahead, big dog. Go ahead, big dog. When you say things like dynamicism, it sounds like you know more than you know. That's it. You use big words and people just think you're a little smarter.
Hey, I almost put on my glasses for the show today, but your boy just got some glasses. You know what I'm saying? Look sophisticated a little bit, But with all those things in combination, I think that's going to help propel this New Orleans team to the win today. And like I said, yes, I got them winning 24-20 in a close one.
Bet. No, I like it, bro. I didn't see that Kendre Miller player of the week. Kendre, there we go. Yeah. Exactly. I like it.
All right. So on to the next one, Willie Jack. We got Denver. They are going to Miami to take on the Dolphins in this one, man. And this is just a bad matchup, man. Especially for Denver, because you coming off of the game where you should have had the win. You had the win. You came out so explosive in the first half, and you guys gave it up. You know what I mean? You allowed the Washington team to get back in this game, and they come steal a W from you. Now you put yourself in a hole, and not only you're in a hole, but you got to go play one of the hottest teams in the league right now, in the Miami Dolphins, who are rolling right now. They're 2-0, you're 0-2. You need this win, but it's gonna be tough. This could be one of the toughest matchups, that you will have, starting off the season like this. So that back's against the wall, man, and they need this one, but I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening in this particular game. Mike McDaniel's got this offense cooking. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They working up a lot of different things, even to the point where Bill Belichick can stop a few things, but you can't stop everything. They got so many ways that they can actually hurt you on this offense. Jalen Waddle is out this game, but I think they'll be fine. They still got Tyreek Hill. They've also elevated Chosen Anderson, used to be known as Robbie Anderson, to the.
And he changed his name 4 times.
Whatever. They've added him to this offense, so he still has a little bit of speed. I don't know how much of an impact he's going to have in this game, but that's what they elevated. But overall, man, this offense has too many different ways they can actually beat you, and I expect them to come away with the win in this game. And for Sean Payton, man, this is what they brought you in for, man. You got to figure it out, and it's going to be tough, but you got to figure it out. I do like the fact that y'all have looked a little bit better on offense, but hey, man, you got to start getting some wins now. You got to go get some wins. And this is a game that's going to be very important if you guys want to be a playoff team as this season goes along, man. So it's a big game for them. But overall, I expect Miami to come in and roll in this game. Give me 30-24, my final score of this game. 30-24, Miami over Denver.
I got you, 30-24. Okay, and I'm also taking Miami in the game. And then just like my dog said, man, so we've got Jalen Waddle out of this game within the concussion protocol. And then Justin Simmons on the other side, the all-pro caliber free safety for the Broncos, he's also out of this game as well. And so maybe, man, that might be maybe that kind of helps to kind of balance out, man. If you got Waddle and Hill both and you're down Justin Simmons, man, and you've only got Patrick Surtain, it was kind of 2-on-2. It was going to be 2-on-1. Well, now Simmons is out. Simmons is out, Waddle's out. So now I get Tyreek and Patrick Surtain. And thus far, what we've seen, they're not shy about letting Surtain follow and match himself up against the number one guy. So I expect to see a lot of that. In this game, and I can't wait to see that. So let's see how Surtain does with Tyreek, man, and what he brings to the position, and how he handles that speed, honestly, as we all know. So I definitely want to see that. I've got Miami handling business at this one as well. Denver going on the road to Miami, and man, Denver hasn't broken 24 points since, like I said, man, since pre-Teddy Bridgewater, and we still ain't seen it. I still haven't seen it, Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. We can count on one of these hands how many times the Broncos scored 24, and Miami and that team, they have no problem touching 30. I'm going 27-17. Miami handling business at the home. At home, they don't touch 30 because I think that Denver Bronco defense is a stingy or salty unit. But I think it's going to be one of those things where, man, I think Miami's just going to wear them down and roll, man. And then as they stretch this lead out, I haven't seen the ability for Sean Payton in that offense with Russell Wilson to put a point to compete or keep pace. And so 27-17 is where I'm going. Miami handles business.
Gotcha. All right, Willie Jack. On to the next one. We got New England. New England going to New York to take on the Jets, man, in a divisional matchup. Who you got in this one, Willie? What about this one, man?
Yeah, this is one of the AFC East rivalry game, of course. I'm taking New England. I'm gonna be short and sweet, man. New England 23, Jets 16, and so similar kind of to I think how I mentioned earlier in that Tennessee and Cleveland game. I think it's definitely going to be a defensive battle in this one. Both these defenses are still pretty stingy, and then also on the other side of that, neither of these offenses are especially explosive either. Now the Patriots are slowly, but we kind of closing. We're kind of looking away from these Patriots, and pretty soon, man, I think they're going to start tallying off some actual victories. They've played very well in these first 2 weeks, even though those were both losses. But like I said, one to the defending NFC champion Eagles, and then the other, I'm blanking.
Miami.
And exactly, and then Miami, which my dog Chop was just saying, man, is one of the most excited teams in the league thus far. And I would say they're a top 3, 4, 5 team in this league at this early juncture right now as well. So very stiff competition these first 2 weeks, and they've shown themselves very well. And now finally, the pressure's off just a little bit because Zach Wilson is the quarterback on the other side of the field today. And so I think that, like I said, I think both these defenses play themselves very well. Mac Jones in that offense, man, they're slowly but surely kind of starting to find a little footing. The second half of that Eagles game, I think they showed themselves extremely well, had an opportunity to win that game, but like I said before, they fall short, and then still found a way to put up a couple points against that Dolphins team as well. But I look for Mac Jones in that Patriots offense, man, to finally get their first win of the season. I think that defense is going to show itself very well. And yeah, I'm going 23-16, New England on the road handling business.
Gotcha. 23-16. I'm going 17-13. New England handle business. I think this is a defensive game, just like you mentioned. I don't see either team putting up a ton of points because this New York Jets defense is different, and this New England defense going against is it the third-year quarterback now in Zach Wilson. New England owns Zach Wilson, okay? And that's one thing that Bill Belichick and New England is going to be able to do is figure out ways to prevent Zach Wilson from scoring and putting up points and moving the ball. And I think it's going to be more of that this game. We're going to be able to smother this New York Jets offense. I don't think we'll see much from them. And as I told you last week, it's going to be anybody but Breece Hall or Garrett Wilson. You know what I'm saying? If you're those two guys, I don't expect y'all to have huge games, man. So I know we always give y'all fantasy nuggets, but if I had some guys where I feel like or don't start or guys I say don't play, it might be those two. Garrett Wilson, you probably don't have a choice because most of y'all probably drafted him really early, so you probably got to play him. But I wouldn't expect much. You know what I mean? I hope you got some other guys that's got some good matchups. So
no, and then on the other side of that, the Patriots defense is a must start today. So if you've got the Patriots defense, definitely start them. Shout out to our dog, man, Isaiah Holmes, back in the building, man, back in the chat. Where's it at? Where's that comment? There we go. Pat's putting up 30, and Zach definitely turning the ball over a lot in this game. And man, I won't be surprised at all. That actually sounds more likely than not. And so I definitely would expect Bill Belichick and that Patriots defense, man, one would probably be, I think one turnover in this game is a given. I look for the Patriots to at least get 2 turnovers in this game, man. I don't know if one may be a pick, one might be a strip sack with Judon coming off the edge. I think you can set the over-under on this game at 2 and I'm probably gonna take the over, man. Give me 2 and maybe even 3 if this thing gets really off the rails.
And here's the thing too, for you, Zach Wilson, if you listening, I know you got your headphones in, you out there warming up. But if you happen to be listening to let the film speak, you know what I'm saying, to try to get some insight on how you can win this game today.
Yeah.
This is a true test for you, man. A true test of where you are in your maturity as a starting NFL quarterback. You know what I mean? Can you? Oh, this is a huge um, hill or obstacle for you to overcome in figuring out this New England Patriots defense and be able to be successful. And I'm not saying go out there and throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, but to be able to go out this game, play turnover-free football, play clean football, and have a chance to win this game. Because if you can go out there and do that, you're going to have a chance. Your defense is going to keep you in this game. So you got to go out here, show some maturity, show that you've grown a little bit, and play some turnover-free football. And if you can do that, you're gonna be right in this game. You're gonna have a chance to win. And in fact, I like your chances of winning because all the athletes that you guys have, I think they're just a little bit better if you compare them to the New England Patriots athletes. So if he can go out here and play a clean game, I like their chances of winning. I just don't have too much faith in that aspect. So that's why I still got the New England Patriots winning this one 17-13. And like you said, a defensive game, Willie Jack.
No, for sure.
Absolutely. On to this next one, Willie. We got Buffalo, man. Your boy, man, as you call him, Big Josh.
Big Josh.
Big Socks. I mean, my bad. Buffalo going to Washington to take on the Commanders, man. The Commanders. And I'll start this one off, Willie Jack, and I'll get out your way, let you turn this over.
This is your game of the week, isn't it?
Huh?
This is your game of the week.
No, not this one. Not this one. We get to it. This was one of my favorite games. I will say that. It's not my game of the week. It's not my game. We'll get to the game. You know the games of the week coming up last, big dog.
Man, I don't know why. Maybe I marked it wrong. Yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
No, we talked about it a little bit. We did talk about it because this is a very exciting game. And it's exciting for two different reasons. One, okay, Buffalo is 1-1, right? But we know what Buffalo is. We know the caliber of team that they are. You know, they're usually a playoff team. We know they're tough, right? Washington is a team that's 2-0 right now. They're 2-0. They had some 2 wins the first week. Eric Bieniemy is showing that he can put some stuff together for this offense. Sam Howell is growing as we speak, you know, and showing that he can make the plays necessary and be feisty and be the quarterback that kind of gets them over the hump, you know, in certain games, or if it comes down to close games, he can be the guy to make a play. They're showing that. And this is going to be a huge test. I think this could be a really, really good game. This Washington defense is for real. You know, this Washington defense is legit. We just talked about it last week. They got the boy Chase Young back. He's on his contract year. He's trying to go get that money. So expect him to play very, very well. Their defensive line is healthy in general. They're deep. Like we used to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. This Washington defensive line is deep as well. You know, they got guys that, you know, they can spell their starters, man, and they just get just as much pressure or, you know, just as much disruption in the backfield, you know, and we know how with this Buffalo offense, you know, in the past, it's been Josh Allen. Now we're starting to see a little bit of James Cook. If they bottle up James Cook and make them go back to being Josh Allen, do we see more of those mistakes that we saw in week 1? You know, a lot of those mistakes where he's trying to force balls into tight double coverage or, you know, in situations where he didn't necessarily need to, where he could have just took the L, whatever the case may be, having turnovers. Do they force him into that type of ball? Because if they do, we talking about a game here. This is a game, you know. But we've also seen Josh Allen, and when he's on, it doesn't matter the type of defense, man. He can be on, you know, especially when him and Diggs get it going. So we also starting to see Kincaid get going, which is the reason why I got Buffalo in this game. I think that they have a little bit more flexibility in their approach in the game in terms of the offense. It's not just Allen and Diggs anymore and Gabe Davis with a little sprinkle of Gabe Davis. No, they got a lot of different guys that can beat you in different ways, and they use a lot of different sets. So give me Buffalo in this game, man. I think they come and humble Washington a little bit. Both of these teams end up 2-1 after the end of this game, but give me 27-23, my final score.
27-23.
And I just got news. Going back to the Packers game, I'm sorry, but they did confirm that Aaron Jones and Christian Watson will be out this game again. So,
okay,
just in case anybody was still wondering if they were going to play, Aaron Jones and Christian Watson, both of them will be out this game.
No, got you. And I'm also I'm going Buffalo in this game as well, man. Big Josh on the road and Washington, but this game definitely I think is going to be pretty competitive because we've seen, like you said, man, the I guess the improvements that we've seen this team make under the stewardship or the offense under the stewardship of Eric Bieniemy, the what we've seen. I mean, it's still early, of course, but what we've seen from Sam Howell, he made some that last week's game against Denver, man. He made some throws, bro. Like he made some very impressive throws. I think the post over the top to gosh. I'm losing. I can't think of who the receiver was, but no, man, he's definitely showed a lot, and he seems to be playing well in this Vietnamese version of this offense as well. And so I definitely think they're competitive. But I'm going with my dog, Big Josh, man. I love what I saw last week, man. I love what we saw. I love that. Just like you said, a big part of that was James Cook being so viable on the ground because 17 for I think a $120 or so. Big Josh only I think had two, maybe three rushing attempts in the game. You can tell they came out determined for this to be a very clean play game. I think Big Josh finished that first half either 9 of 10 or 9 of 11, and then finished that game, of course, no turnovers, interception wise or fumble wise, which is huge as well. So, assuming now we build off that performance from last week, now we do travel on the road, which is going to be to a very competitive Washington Commanders football team as well. So I do expect this one to be tough. I do expect Washington to make this very hard fought. I am worried about that Commanders front line because we've got Chase Young back now. Last week he gets his first action and gets a sack. Him and Montez Sweat both those guys on the edge. Deron Payne also had a sack last week. So that D line is hunting. And so this is a game where it could get a little dicey if that D line is hot and they're able to get home and find pressure. Do we see Big Josh revert back into those turnovers that we can see when he starts pressing and starts really kind of pushing and trying to force plays? And so that's worrisome for me, honestly. But I'm still taking my dog. I'm still taking Big Josh to get it done on the road. I'm going 27-20. I like your scores, well, 27-23. I'm going 27-20. Big Josh in the game. Get this one done. And then really quick, man, we got some chats in the got some of those comments, man, some of those members in the building. Shout out to my dog, man, Brother Red, man, no votes to the podcast in the building. Says it's only been a few weeks, but he wants to hear more about maybe the improvement that we've seen in Washington's offense and maybe the lackluster performances that we've seen in the Chiefs' offense. To like I said, not still early, but to this point in the year. And Brother Red, no votes to the podcast. That's a very good, very good. That's a very good comment, my dog.
I like that
comment, man.
I like that
I'm keeping tabs on that as well, Chop, man. I want to see a larger sample size before we can really kind of hammer that home and maybe make that a focal point of conversation. But to this point, though, man, I think it's definitely Bieniemy 2, Chiefs and Nagy 0. Like I said, we're gonna judge these first 2 weeks of action.
Hey, and I know we like to talk to our film fam, man, because and this one I'm dedicated to the film fam. I want to make sure I make this point to the film fam here, man. This is the exact reason why. Now, like Brother Red said, it's only been 2 games. All right. So you take it, you can't run too far with this. We got to see this, how it progressed, throughout the rest of the season. But thus far, this is the reason why I said that I like this spot for Eric Bieniemy. I like this spot for him. One, regardless if he was calling plays or if he wasn't calling plays. The way it was viewed on the outside looking in was he's under Andy Reid. So let's clear that up. Let's go ahead and erase that. Let me go somewhere else. Washington was a good place for me because they had a lot of pieces. We talk about their pieces all the time. We can name all their players. They got a lot of different weapons, but they didn't have the things in place. Then it was perfect timing because they changed ownership from the previous guy that was there. We're not going to spend too much time on that one, but they changed the ownership. So now everything is new. It's refreshed. Everything is new. You guys got some stuff to work with. And then you go here and you are showing that, hey, man, I'm legit. I'm for real. I do this. Y'all might not like my coaching style. Y'all may try to criticize this, criticize that. Man, whatever y'all talking about, my stuff, it turns into wins here. It turns into wins, and that's what they're doing. They're winning games. The defense is playing well. To put those two together, man, this team is looking like my bold prediction is going to be okay, but I just want to point that out because when he first made the move, people felt like, man, this was terrible. This was terrible because he was going from the Chiefs to the Washington. Commanders team. But I like the move. I hope he continues to be successful. Go ahead and get in their playoffs, dog. Go make some noise. You know what I'm saying? Go face some of those guys and maybe pull up an upset or two. Keep going. Keep going. I want to see more of it, man. So just wanted to point that out really quick in terms of that.
No, for sure. No, I like the matchup when it was announced as well because they've got weapons over there. And so, I mean, maybe we didn't know what we were going to get from Sam Howell, but Scary Terry and what we saw for Johan Dotson in his rookie year, man. So that was impressive. And then, like I said, man, they've got some pieces on that front line on the defensive side. But man, when you got that I guess that core right there, those weapons on the outside to at least build around, and then, like I said, man, a young talent in Sam Howell that we've seen being able to this point looks like he's developing just fine under EB's tutelage, man. So no, it's they're gonna make some noise, man, especially in an NFC East that is while tough, it looks like they're gonna be just as competitive as the two teams at the top.
Absolutely. So we'll see what happens there, Willie Jack. We got a couple more games, Willie Jack. We're gonna do two more games, man. Then we're gonna hit a quick break real quick. But let's finish off these two games. We'll do a break, and then we're gonna finish off with the second half. But first, let's go into these two games. I got Houston going to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Who you got in this one, Willie Jack?
Man, and you know what? I'm taking Jacksonville in the game. It is at home, but and I saw a graphic. I guess Trevor Lawrence hasn't played particularly well against the Texans. I think he's like 1-3, or he's only won one time. However many games he's played thus far in this series, but I want to say it's like 1-3 in this series. But this one being at home, I like what we've been seeing here early, man, or at least this second week for sure with CJ Stroud and Nico Collins, man. So it looks like they found themselves a nice little connection here, and so I now want to see them continue to build on that, and especially like I say you'll need to in this game. But I've got Jacksonville as just the overall better team. They're further along in their development. Two teams who kind of have restarted or rejumped their franchises with young quarterbacks, but Trevor Lawrence being further in his progression than we've seen for CJ Stroud for sure. And then also, man, for that Texas defense, they're missing a couple key guys. They're missing safety Jalen Petrie, and they're also missing middle linebacker Denzel Perryman as well on that defense. And I think honestly, both those guys are invaluable in this style of game. And I want Perryman in the middle of that defensive second line, man, to make sure we keep tabs on ETN. And I definitely want Jalen Petrie flying all around that secondary, man, with all the weapons that we know that Jacksonville has on the outside. On the other side, Zay Jones is out as well for the Jaguars. But you still got Calvin Ridley with the explosive first week, and then I know he had the connection wasn't there that second week, and so now looking to see them try to get back on track as well. You still got Christian Kirk coming off a 100-yard game this last game also. So I think all told, I think I'm going with the more developed and the better all-around team in Jacksonville, especially at home. Give me Jacksonville 23, Houston 17.
Gotcha. And I got Jacksonville in this game too, Willie Jack. And but this game does concern me. I will put it out there. This game does concern me because this Houston pass defense has been really good. If there's anything that Houston has been giving up in the first couple games, it's been a little bit on the run defense. The pass defense has been pretty stingy, and Jacksonville likes to pass. A lot of their weapons, they operate in the passing game. Now they still got Travis Etienne, they got Tank Bigsby, and they've been trying to involve them to involve Tank a little bit more in their run game, but it's the passing defense, which if they can get out the Trevor Lawrence and cause some problems, then we got a game here. But on the other side of that too, I mean, I just don't. Yeah, they have that connection with Stroud and Nico Collins. And here's another thing too, Willie Jack. I forgot to. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, man. The crazy story, the great story of John Mechie, man. John Mechie is back on the field. He's back active, man, for this Houston Texas team, man. After going through all the things that he's went through,
was it leukemia? I believe.
I think it was something like. I think it was that. I have to look into it, but I know he went through tough times, man, and wasn't sure if he was going to be able to play again. But to get to where he is now and be able to be back on that field with that team, man, is wonderful. Just wanted to really point that out. But ultimately, man, this game scares me a little bit. I think that Jacksonville gets back on track though, and I'm going out on a limb, and I'm gonna say this is a 30-17 game, man. I think they put up 30 in this game. And it's not X's and O's wise, but more so of the mentality of, all right, we need to get a good bounce back win. I think they felt like Their offense kind of let them down in that Chiefs game, not even being able to score a
Sure.
touchdown in that particular game.
For sure.
So Doug Peterson's definitely went back to that drawing board to try to get some things figured out. And I expect them to come out really hot in this game, really on fire, and having some fire under them in this particular game to be able to, come out fast against Houston and not looking back after that. So give me 30-17. I got Jacksonville over Houston.
Gotcha. Okay, I like it.
All right. Now let's go to the last 12 o'clock game. We're not the last one. We got one more, but hey, we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. But we got Indianapolis, man. Indianapolis is going to Baltimore to take on the Ravens, man. Ravens. And this is a game also, we got a few injuries in this one. Of course, Indianapolis quarterback Anthony Richardson, he'll be out this game. On Baltimore's side, they'll be without Odell Beckham in their lineup. Of course, they are without, I think, Justice Hill as well. They already lost J.K. Dobbins early in the season. It seems like every year, man, in the running back room with the Baltimore Ravens, they always go down, guys, and Gus Edwards ends up being one of the lead backs, because of injury. So Gus Edwards, they also bring Melvin Gordon over and Kenyon Drake. I think both of those guys will be active. So I'm anxious to see what that backfield looks like, who's going to get the bulk of those carries and who's going to be the guy to kind of lead, or if it just is a running back by committee approach, which I think that's the way I probably lean towards. But ultimately, with everything that Baltimore has going on in terms of the injury bug and things like that, I still got them winning this game. I think it's going to be too much for Indianapolis to overcome. Now, I do think Indianapolis is going to play some pretty good defense against Baltimore. I think they're going to give them a few different problems, but ultimately, Baltimore find a way to get it done, and they win this with 26-13. And that Baltimore defense is going to smother this Indianapolis offense with Gardner Minshew. That offense was already tailored towards Anthony Richardson's skill set. So I think that's going to be too much of adjustment to go back to a style of offense that's going to fit Gardner Minshew in this particular game in just a week's time. So give me Baltimore winning this game 26-13.
Man, this is a game I wanted to call for the upset, man.
You wanted to?
I really do, and I still do, man. I want to, but I feel like if I wish this game was in Indianapolis, and then I'd have went ahead and jumped out the window, man, and took Gardner Minshew to handle his business at the crib, man. Because when you just see the injury report for Baltimore, it's like, golly, man, they got like 9 guys out of this game, and like 6 of those guys are legitimate starters. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just. When that's what I mean, just knowing what's stacked against them, man, just from a roster perspective, man, it's just, man, you start dropping so many bodies, man. It's only so long before you really start to kind of feel the effects of that, or you just can't cover up those holes from those guys that aren't in anymore. But I still can't quite pull the trigger, man. So I am going to take Baltimore to get this one done. I've got Baltimore 24-20. Now on the other side, though, I think Minshew's going to be fine. And so I know last week they were playing the Texans when he came in. For Anthony Richardson, that's a different animal. The Texans defense Texans versus Baltimore for sure. But Minshew coming in, whenever it was mid game, whenever he did come in, but coming in cold off the bench, can't expect to play. I know you ready to play, but you don't expect to play. But showed himself well. 19 for 23, 170 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception. And so I think Minshew can be fine in this game as far as how he's going to perform himself. Now, whether or not they just have, I think the weapons to really kind of put up. I just don't think they're going to score enough points. And so I do think it's going to be competitive. Like I said, I've got Baltimore winning this 24-20, but I just don't think that Minshew and the weapons they have just have enough to really kind of take this over the top. I think another touchdown, like you said, if they can get it's going to take 3 touchdowns. I only got them getting 2. And so I don't think they get this one done. And then on the other side of that as well, Lamar did show himself well in this last game. And so spread the ball around pretty good, made some pretty impressive throws, and stayed pretty clean as well. I don't think he had an interception in that game also. So it wasn't a like record-setting or highlight numbers game or whatnot, but he did spread the ball around pretty good. And played pretty clean. And so assuming they keep that up, and like I said, again, being at home, I think they will they will take care of business. So one more time, Baltimore 24, Indianapolis falling just short 20.
Gotcha. All right, Willie Jack. All right, man. So those are pretty much all the 12 o'clock games, man. We went through all the games. We talked to you about, what we expect But we got more. We're not done yet, man. We got some more games to get to. We got, of course, all the games at the 3 o'clock slate. We got the Sunday night football. We got 2 Monday night games. And of course, we still got to let y'all know who our games of the week are going to be. And then also, we still waiting on Willie Jack's performer of the week, man. So
Yes,
all
sir.
that when we come back, man. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back, man. We'll be right back.
Today's episode of Let the Film Speak, hosted by the wonderfully handsome and intelligent brothers of Let the Film Speak. That's Chop and your main man, Willie Jack. You feel me? Also brought to you by the Three Amigos. Y'all know them and you love them, man. That's the Three Amigos. That's like, that's share, that's subscribe, that's three the hard way, that's the 3-piece spicy. You cannot go wrong. Now, I say the same thing every week, so y'all can say it at home with me. I know y'all ready for it. Here we go. It's Three Amigos, but it's 4 parts to this process, big dog. First, you just got to tap in. Like my dog said, man, come in, tap in. Just say what's up, man. Just holler. Hey, what's up, Three Amigos, man? Like, share, subscribe. Hey, Chop, man. Willie, man, what's going on, man? It's cool. I sit on the couch. For sure. Y'all got something cold to drink? Oh, man, my man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, man, I'm a Broncos fan. That's all you got to do. That's it. That's easy. And Chop, come in, sit down, get comfortable, get a cool adult beverage, and let us know who you ride with, big dog. Then tell a friend. Like, man, that's a nice feeling here, ain't it? Man, it's cool, man. My homeboy was out. He was down. Man, it's cool. I can tell a friend. Tell a friend, man. And you know what? Even better than that, you can tell your friend to tell a friend. Guess what? There's more. You can tell your friend to bring his partner to. Bring one more because we need 4, man. Bring them up into the penthouse. Tapping with your dogs, man. Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. You know we don't wear no watches. We ain't got nowhere else to be but in here kicking football flavor with the fam. And now back to the regularly scheduled program. All right.
All right. So if y'all heard my dog Willie Jack, man, y'all need to listen, man. Check in, holler at your partners, man. So I expect a few more people to roll in and start talking to me about, some of these games that we got coming up, man. Because I know y'all listening to my dog Willie Jack. But on to the next one, Willie Jack. We had Carolina, man. Carolina go to Seattle. They're going to take on the Seahawks. Willie Jack, who you got in this one, man? Well, I pretty much know.
Come on, man. Look here, man. Don't even worry about none of that, man.
Explain to us why you got the
Don't even worry about that. Big Gino takes care of business at the crib. Now, it's going to be a tough task for Carolina anyway, man. They've got well, you know what? I'm not going to. It was already going to be a tough task regardless. Now Bryce Young is going to be out. You've got Andy Dalton starting, and honestly, I think that could be. I think the Carolina team is going to play. That offense may play a little smoother, honestly, because you've got this experienced veteran and Andy Dalton. Now, here's something as well. I think we see a better game, I guess, fantasy-wise from Adam Thielen as well, because Andy Dalton, I would expect him to look and lean on another grizzled veteran like himself. And so him and Adam Thielen, I think, I think he's really going to kind of lean on him as he makes his first start of the season. You know what I'm saying? Just a little nugget. Just a dab of do, you know what I mean? So I'm not telling you to start Adam Thielen in your first 2 primary receiver slots, but let's say if it's a tight week and you ain't got nothing going on, man. If you got an extra flex spot, man, and it's a tough all the way around matchup for you, or you got a guy that's out, then man, maybe Adam Thielen, man, in your second in one of those flex spots, man, he might surprise some folks, man. So if Andy Dalton throws a touchdown in this game, I expect it to go to Adam Thielen. So there you go. But I'm taking Seattle and Big Gino to handle business, man, at the crib, 24-16. This Panthers defense, man, they have some players, and so they can get after the passer a little bit. Seattle on their side, they're still missing their left tackle, Charles Cross. He's still out. He's out again for this game as well. And so now does Brian Burns and some of those other guys up front, are they able to take advantage and maybe get home and make things a little uncomfortable for Big Gino? But all told, man, I think Big Gino and that Seahawks team, they roll and get this one done. I'm going 24-16, handling business at the crib.
Yeah, and you brought up those tackles being out, Willie Jack, and even with them being out last week, and that was something I paid attention to. They did a really good job against Aiden Hutchinson and those pass rushers, man. They did a really good job of keeping those guys at bay and giving Gino that time so that he can, orchestrate the offense the way he needed to, especially when it counted the most, when they needed that touchdown in overtime to go and seal that deal with Gino to lock it. So even with those guys out, man, credit to that offensive staff, and that coaching staff to putting those guys in position to still be successful and still be able to protect Gino, man. So I expect them to do a little bit more of that, and they're going to need to, especially with the pass rush of this Carolina defense. But I expect Seattle to keep rolling. There was a big win for them last week. They needed that. I think that win kind of gets them going and starts to get them rolling. They can build some momentum starting last week, but continuing this week to prepare them to 2-1. I got them winning this game 27-17. I expect Geno to play a solid game, man. Not a huge game, but play a solid game. High completion percentage type of game. Keep it safe. DK Metcalf is active in this game. I know he was banged up last week, but I do expect them to use a little bit more Jackson Smith than Jigba. Okay, you dropped you a little bit of fantasy nugget in this game, man. I'm gonna drop one here, man. With DK Metcalf banged up, I expect him to be out there and do a lot of decoying, opening that field up for Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith and Jigba. I expect Jackson Smith to get, I would say, about 6 catches in this game, man. And depending on, how he gets those catches and where they are, man, he could go for over 100. We'll see how that works. But I expect Jackson Smith and Jigba to be a little bit more involved in this one. And I got Seattle winning this one. Carolina, man, they got too many problems up front in the offensive line, and they're out there without their quarterback and Bryce Young. And it's just too much going on for them right now. So, yeah, give me Seattle 27-17 in the win in this game.
No, and good call out, man. I definitely want to see JSN kind of announce himself or kind of introduce himself here, because we still haven't. It feels like we still haven't really got to kind of see him get going and have a day where he can, we can talk and sing his praises, man. I definitely had high hopes for him coming in, and so yeah, definitely look for him to maybe this would be the perfect situation with DK being a little banged up. That yeah, that's a good call out, man. Maybe JSN gets a little more focus in the offense.
Absolutely. All right, on to the next one, Willie Jack. We got Chicago going to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. This one gonna get ugly. All right. I'm just gonna put that out there, man. This one's getting ugly, and it's for 2 reasons. One, this Chiefs offense hasn't quite got it going yet, and I think this is the perfect matchup for them to really get it going. All right. I know we just talked about this not too long ago, but a matchup like Chicago, and I'm talking to you too, Brother Red. I know we talked about how this Chiefs offense hasn't looked the same. Well, after this game right here, I don't think we're gonna be seeing too much of that. I think Andy Reid's gonna have this team set and ready to go. I don't think there's gonna be too much this Chicago defense is gonna be able to do to this Chiefs offense. This Chiefs defense is playing some great ball. They playing some great ball. I'm talking about limiting the Jacksonville Jaguars to no touchdown. That was very impressive. And then we already talked about the Detroit offense, only to have limited them to 14 points in their game too. The way this defense is playing. Those guys are playing huge. Chris Jones is back, and he looks like he was ready already. It was like, oh man, I don't need to get in that football shape, man. Got him a sack already, what I'm saying, just his first game back. So this defense is playing some really good ball. And right now, Chicago and Justin Fields specifically is not playing good, man. The offense doesn't look good. They don't look fluent. We've already, I don't know if everybody's been kind of paying attention to, the stations, ESPN and stuff like that. Justin Fields admitted himself that he's thinking a little bit too much, and he's not playing off his instincts. But that was one thing that I mentioned too, was like he was just being athletic back there as a QB versus being able to anticipate and do those type of things. But the more I see him, the more I think that I don't know if he is that guy, or if he'll be able to do that. Or is it the coaching? Is it because they can't develop a scheme that fits his skill set the same way that Steve Steichen was able to do for Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts has some similar problems as Justin Fields in terms of holding on to the ball too long, taking too many sacks, and not being able to see and read the coverage quick enough. But they changed that offense for him to where what he does works for them now. He has weapons, and just what they do, just the read option and everything they do is ran through Jalen Hurts, and it put him in a position to where he can be the best quarterback he can be. So what is it with them? What is it? And they have to get this thing figured out quick, because if not, Justin Fields, you could be on your way to the Chicago Bears could be on their way to drafting another quarterback in the first round the next year or two, or either or maybe both. Maybe, and then the coaching staff could be out. So this is very concerning for Chicago for me. And it should be concerning for Chicago fans and just everybody in their organization, because this is year 3 for Justin Fields. And my bad, Willie Jack, for going on a little bit too long.
No, you good, do your thing.
But this is year 3 for Justin Fields, man. And this is the year we expect you to take that next leap. You were exciting last year, but this is the year, man. What you gonna say?
No, and I was gonna say honestly, man, the quarterback or the quarterback replacement rumors aren't new. They were talking last year, just this last draft cycle. They were talking about whether or not they should have kept that first pick and selected Bryce Young. You know what I mean? And so it's no secret there that there's a lot of people to blame, I guess, in that offense or for the struggles that offense has faced. But honestly, man, it feels like public perception is leaning more towards Fields than it is the offensive coaching staff. And honestly, man, I think it's one of those things where it really is just a round peg in a square hole, or a square peg in a round hole, where it just feels just maybe just it doesn't look like his skill set and the things he has to offer just align with what that offense really wants to do
Yeah,
and
man.
how they want to produce points. And so I'm not ready to necessarily sell my stock on Justin Fields, but it's getting to that point to where maybe it's time to sell my stock in Justin Fields in Chicago
Yeah.
is where this thing may be getting. And because the one thing when I think about Justin Fields, I think about, okay, well, let's imagine year 2 Lamar Jackson, but let's force him to play in, let's say, like Aaron Rodgers, or just an offense that just doesn't cater to what he does best. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so, like, we wouldn't even get to see like if no, I'll just leave it right there. If Lamar Jackson was forced to try to be Joe Flacco when they put him in the game, then we may not even see the player that he is right now today, or the player that he was when he goes on to be an MVP, etc., and has the dynamic plays that we know and love now. But they didn't expect that of him, or they didn't force that on him. It's like, okay, well, yeah, this offense was geared one way or whatever the case. But okay, if this is the guy that's going to come in and play now, well, now everything has to move around. Like, we've got to shift everything around in place to make it so that he has an environment conducive to him producing. And so I feel like that's not those wholesale changes haven't necessarily been made with the Bears and that offense and the scheme of the things they're asking. Last week, I think they had three QB called runs for Justin Fields all game. And now
That's terrible. That's terrible.
yeah. And
That's
so I
terrible.
think he ends up having like maybe 6 rushes in the game or 7 rushes, but so the other ones are going to be scrambles, but only 3 called runs in this game. And we've all seen the struggles he's having, I guess, getting the grips or getting aligned with that passing offense. And so, like, they lean more into his struggle instead of leaning more into what he does well to this point. And so, I just don't know what's going on there. He's made some comments in the press, which could have been construed as him blatantly calling out the coaching staff. And then I think he did release a statement where he came back and kind of wanted to kind of clear that air a little bit. But
and I hated that too, man, because they jumped on Justin Fields bad for that, and I knew exactly what he meant when he said it the first time. He wasn't blaming the coaches, man. They asked him why was he thinking? Why is he thinking a lot? And when you're coached, when you're coached and they're teaching you a lot of different things. So what he was saying is he just may be thinking about, what he's supposed to do and what coaches have been telling him to do, not blaming them and saying they're the problem. And I didn't like how they jumped on him in terms of that, man.
no, for sure, man. And we got some good comments in the chat around this as well. Our dog Isaiah, man, back in the building, man. He said Justin explained it perfectly. The coaching in the place has him robotic.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was my
Right, I was
fault.
reading.
My fault.
Hold on, I got you. I got it. Yeah, he said, yeah, the coaches in the place have been robotic. Watch him. He's first read, second read, third read, and has no feel for the plays. And so, not exactly. And so I think maybe just like we were saying before, man, when he made those comments, and I think it's a moment where he got caught up maybe being a little too honest in the press as well, because the press is going to, if there's an opening to make it,
Of course.
if there's an opening to make it a bigger story than it is, then that's, of course, what's going to be done.
Right.
And so, and so I think he's just saying, overall, just the way that they're playing now, he doesn't feel like he feels a little more constricted as opposed to just being able to kind of just free flow and play. Our dog Miles back in the building as well, man. That Chicago play calling is definitely an issue. Oh man, Brent Law in the building, man. Shout out to that boy T, man. He said, yeah, Chicago has a Chicago issue. And you know what? If we actually look at that, this is an organization that historically has just never had in not even to say prolific, because that could be too far a stretch to say, well, they've never had a prolific passer or whatever. They've never had a decent passer. Justin Fields just topped like 5,200 receiving yards, something like that. Fastest to ever do it. Beat Randy Moss's record. That's another story. It's all good. He's already got more career receiving yards in his career to this point than the all-time leading receiver in Bears history.
Hold on. Let's slow down. Who you talking about? You talking about Justin Jefferson? Who you
Justin
talking
Jefferson, excuse me. Yeah, I think I said Justin Fields.
about? I just want to make sure they knew who you were talking about.
Yeah, not my fault.
Okay.
All the justice got to me, my fault. But no, Justin Jefferson to this point in his career, and now he's phenomenal, but he already has more career receiving yards right now in his 3 or 4 years in Minnesota than the all-time leading receiver in Chicago. You know what I mean? So all time. You know what I mean? And this is a team that has won several championships. I mean, well, notably the last one in the 80s with a defensive-led team. But they've never had like a dynamic or explosive passing offense. They had a short little run there. Maybe if we want to credit Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall for the 2-3 years that they were there and I guess maybe put a couple points on the board. But they've just never deeper than just Justin Fields or just kind of going into what brother-in-law was saying. Man, Chicago has a Chicago issue, and man, that's just strange to think about. They've never figured out the passing game in that organization. It feels like, and so that's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then also, man, my bad, man. One more time, man. All right, another one of the members that fell in the building, man. Let me shout him out, man. Big Jeff, man. Jeff Walker in the building. He said he's late, man. He's at the gig, man, trying to get it in. But he's still in this thing, man. The player from the Himalayas is in the building, man. What's going on? And I told him, I said, hey, look, Jeff here, man. Don't worry about it, man. Hey, man, this is just like church. It's better get here late than never at all, man. You can still get some of this good word. You can still get some of this good gospel this morning, this football Sunday morning, man. So welcome. Don't worry. Somebody get a plate over at Brother Jeff and sit down and get real comfortable, big dog. We still rolling.
Absolutely. But I ain't give you a score in this game with the Jack. I said all that too, but no, that was good. I'm glad we jumped into that because I feel like that was necessary for sure. But to give you a score in this game, I told y'all I was gonna get ugly, man. And yeah, man, this is the game we're gonna see this Chief offense. You know, they really jump off the diving board, and it's going to get ugly. So give me 34-10. 34-10 is the final score of this game, and the Chiefs come in, and, they blow these guys out. They blow them out. I think we still see more struggles from Justin Fields, unless they decide to run the ball, man. Let that boy carry the ball 10 or 15 times. Give me a lot of read options in this game. I want to see more from that. Let Justin Fields go play his game. But yeah, give me 34-10. The Chiefs take off and they take this one pretty easily. Willie Jack, what's your score, man?
Yeah, man, I got the same thing, man. A lot to a little. You know what I mean? I got Kansas City 30, Chicago, man, a generous 13. But yeah, I think this one it gets ugly and out of hand sooner rather than later. And man, just from everything we see, man, it's dysfunctional and disheveled as that coaching staff and that offense is particularly, man. And then even on the other side, man, we haven't seen much to celebrate on the defensive side either. With all the additions they made to that defense and free agency, man, we still haven't seen that come together either. But this isn't the week that we see it, so I'm going 30-13. Kansas City handle business.
Gotcha. All right, Willie. Is there anything else you want to touch on before I move on? Any more comments you want before I move on?
Nah, man, we good, man. Brett-in-law had another comment, man, so I put it on the board for us, man, so we can highlight it. But yeah, we gotta get out of Chicago, man. We gotta go on to Dallas.
Okay. All right. Got you. Well, we're going to Arizona, man. Dallas goes to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Willie Jack, who you got in this one?
Man, give me in this one. I'm taking Dallas in the win for sure, but I've got this being a pretty competitive game, man. Because boys is sleeping on Arizona, and it's about to be time for everybody to wake up, man. Like I said, Arizona may not win a couple games, but just don't think you just gonna show up and backpedal through this game. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna just show up with your eyes half closed. You know what I'm saying? You still got snot boogers and everything else in your face, and you think you just gonna stumble through a victory because Arizona ain't on nothing. No, sir. Arizona's playing ball, man. You're gonna earn every one of these victories that y'all get from us. So I've got this one, man, 24-19. Because man, that Arizona defense is playing. They're playing, man. They playing ball. You know what I'm saying? Flat out. And then also on the other side as well, that offense is finding a way to kind of put some points on the board as well, man. So between Josh Dobbs playing relatively cleanly that we've seen thus far this season, and still finding a way to maybe put some points on the board. James Conner as well has I know he went over topped 100 yards this last week, and so he's still a slow, steady, consistent guy, man. If we can give him the touches, man, he'll hammer us 3.5 yards in a cloud of dust, man. He's one of those type of guys, and then man, he can pop one, man, if he gets the opportunity.
Pause.
Oh, damn. Oh, hey, yo. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, that was wild, man. Yeah, damn. Yeah, man. Yeah, that was
Don't worry about it. Just keep on going, bro.
flagrant
Just
too,
keep on.
bro. Oh man, it was terrible. Hey, but give me Dallas 24-19, man, to get a victory against a very game opponent, man, in the Arizona Cardinals. And then also, man, real quick, I will pass it to you, man. Brother-in-law said he's got the upset alert, man. He's ringing the upset bell, man. Dallas is on upset alert. And honestly, this is the perfect game. Now that brother-in-law said that, this would be the perfect game for Dallas to Dallas. Dallas is good for just kind of like Dallas is good for dropping the game, man, where it seems like they should be the clear cut favorites, man. So I won't ever put anything past Dallas, man, when it comes to just flat out not showing up here.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm going Dallas in this game, Willie Jack, and unlike you, man, it ain't gonna be close, man. I don't got this being a close game. I got 31-17 as my final score in this game, and I think this is the game where Arizona is all that fake competitive stuff that they are. That's out the window, man. That all that fake competitive stuff, man. I know they went up 20-0 against the Giants, but I didn't think the Giants were worth anything, you know what I mean, coming into the season anyway, you know, and then the way that they competed against Washington, you know, I think Washington makes a lot of their games like that, you know, so I don't know. This game different though. You know, this is Dallas. You know, I told y'all my expectations of Dallas, and yeah, they're gonna continue to show. Josh Dobbs, I'm sorry, man, but Michael Parsons is coming to town. You know what I mean? And he's hungry. You know, so he wants to eat. He want to play. So he about to come into your crib. He about to sit on your couch. He about to make him a plate. He wasn't even invited for real. You didn't even invite him to the crib, but he coming in because he saw people there. And he was like, oh, this looks like a nice barbecue at this crib. I don't know him, but I'm about to come. I'm going to tell him I'm kinfolk. And I'm going to make me a plate. I'm going to sit on the couch. And if the game on, I'm going to watch the game. That's what Michael Parsons is coming to do to Arizona right now. Along with DeMarcus Lawrence, he brought his homeboys with him. He brought his partners. He bought reinforcement. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing, too. And we have to touch on this. And actually, let me give you my score on the game. I said 31-17, 31-16. My dog, Willie Jack. 31-16. Because I ain't giving them 2 touchdowns. They're gonna kick a lot of field goals. I give them that. So yeah, give me Dallas in this game, 31-16. Now here's the thing, and it probably won't get tested this game. But Trayvon Diggs suffered a torn ACL. He is out for the season, man.
Man, I hate to see
absolutely hate to see that. You know what I'm saying? As we always say when it comes to like injuries and things like that. And this is a big one, man. One of the top corners. Probably the top corner on their team. And a huge playmaker, the guy that turns the ball over for this particular defense, man. So, that's a huge loss for them. But I think their defense is still going to be good, you know. But of course, you would love to see that defense, you know, at full strength with everybody. But so shout out to him, man. Hopefully praying for a speedy recovery. I mean, hopefully he comes back, you know, ready to go next year and ready to, you know, get out there and perform. So Trayvon Diggs, man, he suffers that torn ACL. But yeah, man, Dallas come out, they take care of business. I got them winning this 31-16. I don't think there's any part of the Arizona offense or defense that can stop what Dallas wants to do.
No, I got you. And then, man, I doubt Miles in the comments, man. Also pointing out that Diggs is out. Also, man, as far as his outlook on the game, he expects Tony to have himself a day, man. That's TP, man. Y'all know what's going on, man. TP free now, man. Hashtag TP free. He expects TP the ball, man. Then he says Dak's going to be Dak, man. So that could either mean Dak doesn't have to take as many chances. He could stay around 17 for 23 for 200 yards, maybe a touchdown, no interceptions, or Dak being Dak. It could be one of those games where they try to make him do too much, and he goes 33 for 51, 2 touchdowns, but those 3 interceptions, and we see Arizona still won, man. So I'm on either side of the spectrum. When you tell me Dak's going to Dak, those are my 2 thoughts. Either it's nice, cool, and he keeps it real cute over in the corner, or he thinks he's a big dog and wants to do a little too much, and then he's throwing the ball all over the yard, but half of them go to the other team. So that's what that means when I see that.
Hey, man, they playing Arizona, man. Y'all better stop this, okay? Y'all better, everybody out here that's talking this Arizona, y'all better stop this, man. I don't care if Dak do throw 2 interceptions and 3 interceptions. 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Arizona ain't got a chance of scoring more than 2 touchdowns. So if he throw 2 touchdowns, I don't care how many interceptions he throw. Don't even worry about that. That defense taking care of everything else. We talking about Arizona, man. Y'all better stop giving them this much time and this much recognition, man. It's about to be a blowout, all right? I ain't playing with y'all. Y'all better quit playing.
Hey, but it's not even so much by Arizona. You gotta remember, Dallas at some point in the season, Dallas is going Dallas now. That's the point. I'm talking. Dallas is going Dallas. It's less about Arizona, so to state.
They gonna lose? Yeah, they're gonna lose a couple games.
Dallas is not necessarily everybody's gonna take a loss, but Dallas has those games, man, where it just shows up and it's like, honey, they tried everything they could do to give it away. That's what I'm talking about. If Dallas pulls the Dallas,
it won't be Arizona though. I'm gonna tell you it right now.
Yeah.
It won't be Arizona.
See, you trying to talk, you trying to give me a switch. When you go
I wish. I hope you do. Give me another game up on you. Anybody out here want to pick Arizona? Matter of fact, I can go look in this weekly pick 'em and see who y'all pick once these games start, man.
My pen hand shaking, though.
I bet you don't nobody in this chat, man, pick Arizona to win that game. Man, y'all better stop playing, man. I ain't gonna play games with y'all. I ain't gonna play games.
My pen is itching, man. I'm telling you.
Let me help you out. Let me stop that pen from itching, man. Let me go on to this next game, man. We got Pittsburgh. We got your boys, man. The Pittsburgh Steelers. They go to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Who you got, Willie Jack? Go ahead, dog.
All right, man. So Sunday night football, prime time. We're going to Las Vegas to take on these Raiders. I'm going with my dollars, of course, man. I'm going Pittsburgh 24-20 in this game. Now, this game for us, we played them last year at home, end of the year, and this is one of the games where I feel like Kenny Pickett really kind of turned a corner in his early kind of development. He came back and brought us back from, I don't know if we were down like 9 or 10 points in the fourth quarter or late night toward the back half of that game, but it's a comeback win, comeback victory at the hands of Kenny Pickett. He throws I think a touchdown late to seal the victory. I think it was either the George Pickens or maybe the Pat Fryer move, but they end up sealing the victory or coming back and giving us the lead in that game, and we finish it out. And so this was a big game for us last year, this in Kenny's development and maturation as a quarterback. Then this year, guy shows up, I don't know who the hell he is no more. And so I'm hoping maybe a visit back to the Raiders, maybe it helps him kind of maybe find his old mojo, man. I don't know, man. It's just like when a guy is just ice cold from the floor. Man, we gotta find a way to get him some layups. We gotta find a way to get him to the free throw line, man. He just can't hit water falling out of a boat right now. Now on the other side of that, though, man, while I am a little optimistic, that Raiders defense didn't stop anybody. That Raiders defense is there to be sliced and diced if we can make the plays and make it happen. And so I'm hoping maybe this is the week that maybe we get. I don't expect an explosive offensive performance by any stretch, but I just want to see competent offensive football, Chop. That's all I'm asking for. Don't be great, just don't be dog shit. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm asking for. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't have to be Fiji, but just don't be toilet water. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm asking for. Come on, dog.
I don't think you asking for too much, Willie.
Do you feel me? Give me sink water on ice, man. Everybody can offer me that. Everybody can't give me a bottle. Everybody can give me sink water, man. Sink water on ice. That's all I need from the offense. And let my defense keep doing what they're doing, man. Led by the best defensive player in football. You can argue with your mama. But here's another thing as well, man. I'm expecting a big day from our pass rush as well. And so I think both these Colton Miller on the left side, he's stout. He's a solid guy. But that other guy, man, the other guy at right tackle, is going to be a long day for him, boy, with TJ firing on all cylinders as he is in this first early going of the season, man. So I'm looking for TJ to give me 2 of them things today. Maybe one of those be a turnover. But I'm going 24-20. My boys handling their business on the road against Jimmy G's Las Vegas Raiders.
Gotcha. And just listening to you, Willie Jack, I'm gonna give Pittsburgh the extra 3 points. I only had them scoring 20, man. But just because you gave me that talk, man, you gave me a little bit of hope. I'm gonna give y'all the extra 3. So I'm giving y'all 23 points, man. 23-17, though. Y'all come away with the W. Y'all get the win. A win is a win, Willie Jack.
By inch or a mile, man.
You know what I'm saying? No matter what the stats look like throughout the game, man. Yeah. That win column, it populates the same. So either 1 or 0. That's it, man. That's all you get.
Exactly right, man.
It populates the same. So I'm giving y'all the win, man. 23-17 in this game. And I think this is the game because of y'all defense and how y'all been playing and led by TJ Watt, man. TJ Watt is playing some great ball, man. Him and Michael Parsons playing the best ball on defense in the league right now. You know what I'm saying? Michael Parsons, I would say maybe just a half step behind, you know, in terms of just their performances and their production just in the first 2 weeks. Man, but those two can't be stopped. You know what I mean? We just talked about the Dallas game, and TJ Watt he look like a man on a mission, man. And when he's healthy, you know, he's wrecking it up. And so I can't argue with you. I can't argue with you that right now, Willie Jack, he looks like the best defender in football as of right now. What you really say?
Last time he was healthy and played a full season, he set the single-season sack record, man. What more do you want from my dog? The last time he gave you 17 weeks, he broke the record. And he didn't play. He missed the game that year. He missed the game that year.
He didn't play the full season. He
broke the record. Then he was injured. Now he's healthy again. And the boy already got, 5 sacks and 2? Man, come on. Y'all stop playing with my dog, man.
TJ Watt is playing some great ball, man. But I think because of that, we're going to see the Jimmy G that I didn't like. The Jimmy G with the 49ers where, of course, he was in that system. That system worked well for him. But then there were certain games, man, where he couldn't make certain throws or he made mistakes and, you know, those type of things. I think that's what we start to see a little bit from Jimmy G as long as this Pittsburgh Steelers team is able to get after him. And Alex Highsmith is turning into a nice secondary pass rusher as well, Willie Jack, the guy you kind of told us about when you did the top 10 rankings. Now, I don't know if I'm ready to do the I don't know if he's top 10 just yet, man, but he's on his way for sure if he keeps playing like he's been playing. So, hey, I like what y'all got up there, got going on up front with that Pittsburgh Steelers defense. But like you, Willie Jack, I think this is also where we see Kenny Pickett kind of turn over a little bit. I want some more Pat Freiermuth, man. Pat Freiermuth is a solid tight end. I want to see a little bit more than that, especially with Deontay Johnson out. You gotta utilize these guys. And also, I'm sorry, Willie Jack, I apologize, man. Hey, it's time to lean a little bit more on Jalen Moore, man. Jalen Moore need a few more carries, man. If he got 10 carries last week, he need 15 this week. You know what I'm saying? He needs to touch the ball a few more times. He looks to be a little bit more of the explosive back. Now, if we get down that goal line, you need a power runner. Cool. I'm all for Najee Harris. You know what I mean? I'm all for in between the tackles, using him as the Ezekiel Elliott to Tony Pollard, you know, when those guys were together. I'm all good with that, you know, but I think it's about time we spice it up a little bit, man. Give me a little bit more of Willie Parker and let's give me a little bit less of Jerome Bettis. Don't get me wrong, Jerome Bettis a Hall of Fame.
JB was my dog, man. The best was my guy, man.
Hey, people, some of y'all probably didn't even know those two guys. Well, y'all know Jerome Bettis, but you know what I'm saying?
They don't know about that, man.
I know what I'm talking about, Willie Jack. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. And you know what, man? Not to just completely just discount analysis on the Raiders, man. I will tell you this. To this point in the season, we haven't seen Josh Jacobs get going just yet. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the guy that led the league in rushing just last year. He was also embroiled in a holdout throughout the offseason as they worked out some style of contract for him and got him back. So he hasn't got going. Now, my rush defense, man, we've been gouged in this rush in our rushing defense for sure. Now, we are missing our captain in the middle, man. Cam Hayward's out, and his presence is felt. You know what I mean? We couldn't stop. It's one thing not to stop Nick Chubb. It's Nick Chubb. Man, when I tell y'all Jerome Ford was out there looking like Willie Beeman now, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was nuts. And so this could be also a good game for the Raiders as well, man, if they can get Josh Jacobs going and really expose our run game deficiency at this point, man. So this is still definitely a scary matchup for me in that light. If Josh Jacobs is cooking, then I got to worry about who can cover Devontae over the top. Man, I mean, it can go bad for us that way as well, man. So assuming we can keep Josh Jacobs intact, go ahead.
And I was going to say, I was going to add on to that, and that was going to be the other point that I was going to make is if the Ravens have a chance, Jacoby Myers comes back in this game too. And the first game we see in week 1, man, Jacoby Myers looked like a really good second option to Devontae Adams. So if those two guys can get cooking on the outside, man, you know, and try to attack those young corners, the Ravens have a chance there. You know what I'm saying? But the only thing is that pass rush is coming. You know, their guys are coming. So you're going to have to get that ball out quick and get that ball into their hands. So I think that's going to be another key in this game too, Willie Jack.
No, for sure. And I was going to say, attack the old corners. Patrick Peterson been getting honey roasted, boy, for 2 weeks in a row now. Patrick Peterson been getting honey roasted, boy. I'm hoping that you just still settling into that Pittsburgh, into that Pittsburgh lifestyle or something, man. But man, it hasn't been the guy that we saw have a resurgence year last year in Minnesota. It hasn't been that guy just yet.
Gotcha. All right, Willie Jack. All right. Well, keeping it pushing, man. We going into the first of the Monday night games, man. The first of the Monday night games. We got the Los Angeles Rams going to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals, man. And hey, I'm rocking with my dogs, man.
As you should.
I'm rocking with my dogs, man. This is a Cincinnati team that's been struggling the first 2 weeks, struggling without a doubt. Also, Joe Burrow is questionable going into this Monday night game with that same calf injury that he suffered in the preseason. And I think that's going to be trouble for them. It's going to be trouble. It's going to be hard. Well, one, we're gonna need Aaron Donald to be Aaron Donald in this particular game. And if Aaron Donald could be Aaron Donald, that's gonna force Joe Burrow to have to move, use those quick twitch muscles to get out of the pocket. And if so, I don't know if he'll be able to do that with that sore calf muscle, with that sore calf. And the last thing that the Bengals need is for him to keep re-aggravating this. So honestly, at this point, I'm not even sure if he plays with Jack. I don't even know if it's a smart thing for him to play, which means the Cincinnati Bengals are going to have to lean a lot on their run game. Okay, they're going to lean a lot on their run game, do that a lot, and get the ball out quick. Everything is going to be quick, fast, slants, hitches, all those screens, all those type of plays. They're going to do those things a lot, which means the Rams are going to have to tackle a little bit better. And then for the Rams side and on our offense, man, their offense is looking good. Puka Nacua is still there. He's questionable for this game, but I think he'll still play. He had an oblique injury that he's going through as of right now, but I think he'll still play. Tutu Atwell's been playing pretty well, and now they got their established running back. They got what they would probably consider as a cancer out of the locker room, and Cam Akers. Still don't know the situation there and the what's really was going on behind the scenes. But Kyron Williams, man, it seemed like they found a guy in Kyron Williams in terms of being a guy we can rely on, get the ball to, and he give us those hard nose in between the tackle runs and get us a couple touchdowns as well. And Matthew Stafford looks healthy, man. This is a Super Bowl rematch from a couple years ago, man, and I expect the Rams to come away with the W in this one because of all the problems that Cincinnati is going through right now. And McVay is doing a really good job, man. He's doing a really good job of putting that offense together, putting different plays together for what most people felt like was going to be just an absolute terrible year for the Rams, man. And they're looking pretty solid right now, man. So give me the Rams in this game. I think they come away with this W on Monday Night Football. Give me 27-23, my final score of this game.
Gotcha. And honestly, man, my score is actually pretty similar to yours, man. The thing for me is, well, first, I think there was talks earlier in the week whether or not Burrow was actually going to play or not. Then if he plays, does he finish this? How viable is he going to be? How bad is that calf? And so, man, that definitely scares me. And I won't lie, I'm also taking your Rams on the road, man. I'm taking your Rams on the road to get it done against a banged up Joe Burrow and a Cincinnati Bengals offense, man, that still hasn't found its groove. And so I'm going 27-20. Your Rams on the road against a beat up Joe Burrow. And then here's the thing as well, man. I called Sean McVay out at the start of the season, so just before the season started. And one of the things I was saying was I need to see if some of that magic's still in there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I need to see, like, this is going to be the year that tells me right now, like, okay, this is where you show me the coaching chops. Because a lot of, like, the guys are it's after the parade. The champagne is no longer spilled in the locker room. Like, now they're building this thing back up, not quite from scratch, but it feels like they've already kind of had a hard reset. You know what I mean? So we see the year last year that was just an abysmal year we want to throw away, the year after the Super Bowl, right? And so now he comes back this year. You've already got Cooper Kupp out. You got a guy named Pikachu as your number one receiver, and another guy named Tutu on the other side of that. And to show his chops, man, it just like I said, that offense already looks light years better at any point that it looked last year in these 2 weeks behind a guy named Pikachu and a guy named Tutu, with Matt Stafford finding a way to get both those guys the ball their paws. You know what I'm saying? With Matthew Stafford finding a way to get both those guys involved, then you find a young guy in Kyron Williams. He hasn't really maybe filled up the stat sheet with yardage, but he's getting in the paint. You know what I mean? And so he's a guy, I think he's already got 4 touchdowns 2 weeks into the season. I want to say so. If you can't give me 100 yards, give me a touchdown. You know what I mean? So give me one and give me the other. And so they're definitely finding ways to score points. And so that's a credit to Sean McVay, man, showing that, nah, man, it was deeper than just the flashy stuff that we saw and the big name guys that we brought in. It was deeper than that. And so I applaud him for that. And yeah, this is going to be a big victory. This is a very big victory for those Rams. Even with the Bengals being 0-2, to go on the road to Cincinnati with Joe Burrow back up against an 0-2 start, because we forget Joe was 0-2 that Super Bowl year. they started 0-2 the year they went and made that run. And so Joe's been here before. You know what I mean? So this is a team, an established team that like these moments don't scare them because they've got the ultimate faith in a guy that's shown them, now I can still take it to the mountaintop, baby. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we ain't worried about nothing. And so this is a big game for Joe Burrow that these guys have a chance to get themselves right back on track and kind of jumpstart themselves. But like I said, man, it's that calf injury that Chop warned me about. Chop told me about these tricky ass calves, man. He said it, and maybe I didn't give it as much credit as I should have. But that calf definitely seems to be a much greater issue than I anticipated it being. And so, with that being said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and take your Rams to get it done, man. 27-20.
Ooh, don't it feel good to just come on the side, man? Come on our side. Don't it feel good, man? And the weight off your shoulders, man, to just come on over and hang with your boy for a minute, man. It's cool over here, man. I got it comfortable. What temperature you want it in the crib? I changed to Don't it feel good, dog?
Yeah, nah, not quite, man. It feels like you ever took a sip of something and you thought it was gonna be sweet, but it was sour. That's how I feel right now. Like I thought I was drinking Kool-Aid and it was pickle juice, and I can't explain it. I can't explain the feeling right now, but I'm gonna take your Rams and Pikachu to get this done, man. I hope they don't let me down.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna bring your dog, man. You told me Pikachu was gonna come out here and do and put some work in, man. I'd have seen it 2 weeks with my own eyes, man. So I'm seeing if he can go 3 for 3. I'm riding with you.
We'll see what happens there, Willie Jack. But now let's move on to the games of the week, man. We got 2 games of the week. Of course, one is mine, one is Willie Jack's. And let's start with yours, Willie Jack. Let's start with you, man. Since that was a 12 o'clock game, and we're gonna come back to it. That's the last 12 o'clock game, the one we haven't touched yet. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Chargers going to Minnesota as your game of the week, Willie Jack. Talk to me, man. Tell me about this game, dog.
Yes, sir. Jellyfish Justin takes this show on the road and goes to Minnesota. Now, this is why this is my game of the week, because this is 2 teams that were playoff teams last year, 2 offenses that are just as talented from top or just as talented or explosive as a lot of offenses in this league. And like I said, both these teams have started their year 0-2, and so heading into this year, I would have pegged both these teams as playoff teams, and right now, both these teams would be considered on the outside looking in as early as it is. But I think in this first half of the season, I feel like this is and we've said this before, as much must win as a week 3 game can be, right? Because I don't want to just sell the farm and the team that loses this team, their season's over. I don't want to say that. But this is a must win game. I would feel in the locker rooms, in the coaching staff rooms. Both these teams see this like, no, we've got to go get this one. Nobody wants to start 0-3. And really, I mean, the first quarter of your season is a disaster. You know what I mean? So that could be too large a hole to dig yourself out of, especially if you're a Chargers team in that AFC West, because you don't want to fall completely out of that race with Kansas City. And then on the Vikings side as well, man, with that division still relatively being pretty wide open, you don't want to necessarily just lose pace. So I am taking Minnesota to get this done at home. And the same story for me, man. Isaiah, man, I don't know if you're still in the building. The same story as always for me. If this game is close in the crunch, in the key moments of the game, I just don't have faith in Justin Herbert being able to bring it home. Like if they get out to a lead, they jump on them, and Minnesota can't get out their own way. Because we've seen Minnesota should have spanked a Philadelphia Eagles team, and they couldn't help giving the ball back. And my dog Justin Jefferson lays one on the goal line that could be that single play could have been that's a 10-point swing play right there. You know what I mean? And so Minnesota has done a lot to lose a lot of games to lose these games early that they probably could have and should have been in position to win. And then on the other side of that, man, Justin Herbert and his Chargers, they've been playing pretty good ball and playing pretty balanced football when Austin Eckler's in the lineup. Now that game last week with Josh Kelly against that Titans stingy defense anyway, like I said, that was ugly. But week 1 when Eckler's on the field, they came out and showed that it could be a very balanced attack, and he could still get the ball to those weapons on the outside as well. But all that goes out the window when it's a 3-point game and there's 2 minutes left, or when it's a 4-point game and there's 4 minutes left. Like these are the times that Justin Herbert continually comes up short, and it's for that reason I can't pull the trigger and take the Chargers in this one. And so for me, I'm going Minnesota with a big win at home, and I think what's going to be a pretty entertaining game. I got it 31-27, and it's also where you get your player of the week, man. Justin Jetta's best in the business, Jefferson, has himself a day, man. 150 yards. I'm looking for 2 touchdowns and 150 yards. And so the Chargers defense, and we've said this before, that defense, they've got a lot of names, but they don't have a lot of players. You know what I'm saying? They've got a lot of names on defense. They don't have players on defense. I'm talking about guys that show up and lock it up and play ball, man. And so I'm thinking this could definitely be exploited. I think for both these teams as well. I think both offenses are going to go up and down the field. And then for me, it's going to be which of these defense makes the one play that could be the difference, or which of these quarterbacks, like I said, just comes up a little short. And in both these instances, man, I'm taking Minnesota at home to be the team that either makes the play, and if their defense doesn't make a play, well, I'm taking Justin Herbert. I can't even say his name. I'm taking Jellyfish Justin Herbert to shrink when the light gets brightest, because that's what I've seen him do, man. So give me Minnesota at the crib, 31-27.
Gotcha, man. And I'm going to charge in this game, Willie Jack. I'm going to charge in this game. And for me, this is it for the Chargers, man. This is it. When we came before this season started, I picked the Chargers to win this division. Okay, I picked the Chargers to win this division. I picked Justin Herbert as my MVP. But this is it, man. You have to come out and show. And in order for and we know how this goes. In order for you to get an MVP, you have to also have your team also has to win. It has to win games. You know, and you don't need another win bad more than this win right here. This is a very, very important game. You have to come out and you have to get the job done. All right, it's everything else is out the window, and I think and this is the thing with Justin Herbert. Sometimes it's just like sometimes you have to be able to overcome the adversity, and everything can't work perfectly for you to get what you need to get done all the time. Sometimes it's going to be your back is going to be against the wall. And that's the reason why they pay quarterbacks as much money as they pay them, is because at times it's going to be opportunities for you to your team, your defense is going to mess up. They're going to give up touchdowns. You know, y'all might turn the ball over. But at the end of the day, sometimes you got to find a way to get it done. You got to find a way to win these games, find a way to do what you need to do and show them how much you worth. Mm-hmm. And they're going to have to do it this particular game, and they need to do it here. And I'm putting my last bit of trust that I got left. You know what I'm saying? In this particular game right here, I want y'all to go out. I don't care if it's in Minnesota. I want y'all to go out and win this game, man, and show everybody that, hey, man, we still ain't went nowhere. We still are a playoff team, and we still can go out here and win those games. But they absolutely need this one here. So I'm going to go Chargers here in a high-scoring game, because Minnesota's offense can put up some points. Oh, yeah. The defense ain't about nothing, but their offense can put up some points. And this is also a game, Willie Jack. I'm glad you picked Justin Jefferson as your player of the week. But this is one of those games where I was just going to say this. If you got a guy on either one of these offenses, plug them, play them. Oh, yeah. This is going to be one of those games. You play him. If you got Justin Jefferson, of course, you know he's playing. You know what I'm saying? You got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, play him. If you got Joshua Kelly, play him. You got Alexander Madison, play him. Play TJ Hawkinson, play him. All the guys in this game, you want to play them if you got them in your fantasy lineup, because I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And to this point, neither of these defenses have shown that they can stop anybody. So, yeah, go start these guys. But ultimately, man, I got the Chargers coming over with the W in a high-scoring game. Give me 41-38, man.
Oh, wow.
41-38. The Chargers come away with the W in this one.
I'm not gonna lie, man. That's big. Okay, I didn't see that many points. That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, they about to score, man. They about to put some points up, man.
Okay, I see what's going on. And then our dog Isaiah, man. Now, Isaiah is our resident Chargers fan, so I know he's pulling for the home team. And then he's got some comments, man. I would put it on the screen for you, Isaiah, but you got an F-bomb in there, man. I don't want to put you on the screen like that with the F-bomb, but he's calling out head coach Staley's defensive scheming. Said he's just
terrible. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's been ugly now. He's saying so. I mean, Weekly is just there. It's going from bad to worse, and then he's also pulling for Khalil Mack to be benched. Khalil Mack to be benched as well. I don't know who's behind him. It'd be one thing that I was asked as well. So who's behind him? But nah, man. So he's frustrated as well with his defense specifically, man. Like I say, he's a big Chargers fan, so I know he's going to be tuning into that one.
For sure. All right, Willie Jack. Now that brings me to my game of the week this week, man. It's the other Monday night game. of this particular week. It's Philadelphia at Tampa Bay, man. Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Now, this is a game going into the season, man. Nobody would have ever thought that this could possibly be a game of the week type of deal. I think that most people would have said, all right, man, Philadelphia's going to run through Tampa Bay. But as far as what we've seen so far, man, this Tampa Bay team has shown that, one, they still can play some defense. Two, they still got some offensive weapons. And three, Baker Mayfield can play a little bit of clean ball. You know what I'm saying? He can play some clean ball. Now, he's not lighting it up. He's not setting the world on fire. You know what I mean? But he's playing clean. And one, I want to give kudos to their coaching staff, man. The guys that's over there, that's coaching and that's behind this offense, that's putting them in position to be, you know, what they are today. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, just lean a lot more on their defense and just take what the defense is giving you when they're playing on offense. You know, that's what this Tampa Bay team has shown that they can be. This run defense is right back to where we saw. Man, they're not giving up nothing. Devin White and what's my other guy name? Levante David has been playing some really good ball behind that defensive line, and that secondary is playing solid too. They're playing sound, technical, you know, a mistake-free football, man. And that's what you want to see from this Tampa Bay team. On Philadelphia's side, they still showing that they can be that powerhouse team. But what is this going to look like against this Tampa Bay defense? As much as they move people around, you know what I'm saying, week in and week out, are you going to be able to move Big Vita Vea that's standing right there in the middle? You know what I'm saying? Travis Kelce, you got your work cut out for you today, man. Vita Vea ain't your average, you know, defensive tackle that you normally going against. This is a different guy. So I expect them to do a lot of double teams, you know, and combo blocks, you know, in terms of that interior and seeing what type of different things and schemes they come up with to help exploit this Tampa Bay defense. Philadelphia likes to run. That's their thing. You know what I mean? But it's going to be hard against this Tampa Bay defense. You know what I'm saying? So the matchup for me is the reason why I got this as my game of the week. Ultimately, I think that Philadelphia just has a little bit more in terms of the passing game. You put their passing game against this Tampa Bay defense, this Tampa Bay's passing defense. I think that's where you have the advantage. And I think this could be a big game for maybe both Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, okay? And then Dallas Goedert's been quiet too, man. So I expect Dallas Goedert to make a little bit more noise. So that's the reason why I got Philadelphia winning this game. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be one of those hard defensive games. But I got Philadelphia winning this one. Give me 24-20, my final score of this game.
Man, this game, honestly, this is a game. Oh man, and our dog, man, Jeff Walker's in the chat, man. Now he's definitely one of our resident Eagles fans, man. So he's expecting a big game from the youngster, man, Jalen Carter. He's looking for 2 sacks, two sacks from him today. And man, I'm not gonna lie, man, I won't argue anything against Jalen Carter. Y'all know how I feel about Jalen Carter, so I could definitely see him having a big day, especially with one of the weaker parts of this Buccaneers offense being that offensive line. And so we know they've got the stud in Tristan Wirfs for sure at the tackle position, but the other 4 guys that make up that line, they aren't anything to sing about at all. And so this could definitely be a game where that Eagles defensive line really kind of just dominates the line of scrimmage. We still see that the Buccaneers, they still haven't really found a consistent or a steady run game now with Rashard White being the lead back there. So that could definitely be an issue for me. And honestly, man, I want it so bad for Big Bake, man, for Big Bake to pull the upset. The game's at home. I think I saw in the forecast they're expecting rain. And so now this is the thing that makes it interesting for me, because this Eagles team is 2-0. And so, okay, this is what's interesting about the matchup for me. Both teams are 2-0. The Eagles are 2-0, but haven't looked as impressive as maybe the 2-0 dictates. And then the Buccaneers are also 2-0, but we don't trust it. You know, how good is the 2-0 that they, you know what I mean? So it's both teams undefeated, but we look at them both differently for different reasons. And so with it being a little light rain, DeAndre Swift last week went off for 175 yards. I don't necessarily know if he's doing that against that Tampa Bay defense, man. What we've seen so far, they still got Vita Vea, who looks to be back to his form that he was in the championship run just a few years ago, and now he's clogging the middle. He's going to definitely have to deal with Landon Dickinson and Kelce in the middle there, but he's a big stout boy. And also in the rain, with Swift being such an electric and shifty runner and explosive guy, it may not be a game that's more best suited for him to have a big day, much like he did last week. So maybe now is this a game where we lean on Rashad Penny, the bigger back, the more bruising back for this style of game if the weather holds or if the weather turns out like it is. And so man, I'm not gonna lie. And then also what we've seen from Jalen in the passing game as well. And so, we have some explosive plays from him and Devontae Smith in that last game. But yeah, I mean, it was two huge plays on a night where he caught 4 passes, right? And so he ends up with 4 for like 120. But 100 of those yards came on 2 catches. One of them was 60 yards, a 60-yard touchdown. And then we saw the frustrations from A.J. Brown on the sideline a little bit. He feels like he's missing out on all the fun. So he's letting Jalen know a little bit like, hey, man, I need the ball.
Man, them receivers make me mad when they do stuff like that, man. Y'all winning the game, man. The game plan is working, man. Shut up and just play football, man. My bad. Go ahead.
No, you good. But that's how it goes. You know what I mean? Like those guys are. I mean, that's part of what makes the good ones great is because they demand the football. You know what I mean? And so it's a gift and a curse. You know what I mean? Like I want a receiver that wants the ball. Now, do I want to always be on TV yelling at my quarterback? No, but I want to tell my dogs to calm down. I don't want to tell my dogs to sick nobody. So I'll take that.
I'm with you there, Willie Jack. Yeah. I can feel that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't mind it as much, and unless it becomes just an unsalvageable problem like it morphed into for me and Antonio Brown. But so I think for a lot of reasons, man, I could see Tampa Bay pulling, I guess, what may be a subtle upset here, and I want to go that route. But my dog Jeff, man, he hit the nail on the head. I still think, man, that Eagles defensive line is in position to have themselves a day against a weaker Bucks offensive. The Eagles defensive line is in line to have a day against a weaker Bucks offensive line and to really kind of force the ball into Baker's hands. Now we saw an explosive day between him and Mike Evans just last week, but I all told, man, I think it may just be too much at this point, this early. I need to see a little more consistency from Baker, from Big Bacon and that Buccaneers offense, man, and to still even see that defense continue to show me that they're truly back. So for all those reasons, I've got Philly handling business in a very close and competitive game. I've got it 23-19. Oh, we both had a close game, 4-point game. Okay. I'm going 23-19. The Eagles winning this game. I think they can kind of continue the trend that we've seen these first 2 weeks where it's not pretty, it's not overly dominant, especially offensively, the way we had seen them roll last year, but they still find a way to get it done. And I think namely on the back of that defensive line. And then I'm with you, Jeff. I think Jalen Carter is in line to have himself a day, man. I think he's going to wreak havoc on the interior of that Buccaneers offensive line. So those two sacks sound good to me too, Jeff. So I'm with you there, big dog. Oh, and then also Jeff pointed out is Rondé Barber Day at the Buccaneers Stadium. He was recently inducted into the Hall of Fame just this past summer. So kudos to Rondé Barber one more time, man. And man, I don't know if this is the matchup they want to have. Rondé Barber Day, man. It's like I don't know if you want to schedule your homecoming against Philadelphia. You know what I mean? Normally the homecoming is against like the JV team down the street. You know what I mean? Because you want everybody to say it's a party, it's a celebration. I don't necessarily know if you want to bring, you know what I'm saying, the defending NFC champs to the crib on party day, but be that as it may, man, I'm taking the Eagles to handle business.
Gotcha. All right, Willie Jack. Hey, but we had a little bit of news, man, and I'm gonna run through this real quick, man. We don't have it was a little bit vague in terms of what's really going on. But Alan Williams, we talked about Alan Williams on our last show, man.
That's right.
The DC for the Chicago Bears. He had resigned. He's now resigned as Chicago Bears defensive coordinator. Last time we heard from him, he was taking a step back and taking a step away. But no, he actually resigned as defensive coordinator last week because of inappropriate activity. Now, I don't know exactly what that means. I would imagine there's more news that's going to come out pretty soon in terms of that. But it says Williams was not involved in any criminal activity, sources told Adam Schefter. But the Bears Human Resources Department was a part of the process that culminated in his abrupt resignation Wednesday. So they also says they did a digital forensic search. A digital forensic search was conducted as a part of Williams' resignation, according to sources. who added that process was just a part of the team's standard operating procedure. So I don't know, man. It seems like there's some more stuff that's going to come out in regards to this, but we do know for sure that Allen has resigned as defensive coordinator for sure of the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, no, and that's interesting, man. And Brother Red, man, for No Voice Podcast, my dog, man, if he's still in the building, because I think last week when the news kind of came out, he had mentioned that he had saw an article that said like that Allen Williams' home had been like raided by the FBI or something like that.
Yeah, so I think something came out that wasn't necessarily true.
Okay.
That was something else that somebody else put out.
Okay.
But there clearly is something else that's going on.
Yeah.
That will probably come out in terms of it. So I'll just be on the lookout for more news to come about this Allen Williams situation. And of course, if we got some news by our Wednesday show, we'll be sure to get that information out to everybody. But Willie Jack, we're 2 minutes away, man. We're 2 minutes away. Real quick, man. Real quick. Run back your performer of the week this week, man. Get one of the numbers to me, and then we're gonna close it on out and get ready for some football, man. We a minute and 50 seconds away, Willie Jack.
No, for sure, man. I've got Justin Jefferson having himself a day. I think both me and Chop had this game as a back and forth offensive firefight, and so I've got Justin Jefferson doing what he does best, man. 150 yards and give me 2 touchdowns on the day.
Gotcha. And my performer of the week, man, was New Orleans running back rookie out of TCU, Kendre Miller, man. Kendre Miller, I think he's going to have over 100 yards from scrimmage today and 2 touchdowns, man. So be on the lookout for that young guy, man. I like to find the young guys.
No,
man,
I like that pick
with this game. So I'm going with Kendre Miller, man. He's going to be my performer of the week this week for the New Orleans Saints, man, to help them get that W, man. So that's my performer of the week, Willie Jack.
Let's do
it, big dog. I think it's about time for you to close us on out, man. Make sure y'all get your fantasy lineups together. Right now, the 12 o'clock games are locked for the weekly pick 'em, man. So if you ain't got your picks in for the 12 o'clock games, I'm sorry, man. We can't do nothing about that. But make sure you get them in for the 3 o'clock and the Sunday and Monday night games, though.
No, hey, exactly right. I was just gonna say the same thing, man. I hope y'all got them picks in, and if you didn't, man, hey, you better make it up on the back end, man. But other than that, man, like my dog said, man, that is it, and that is all. Football Sunday is here, baby. So everybody, I know y'all locked in. I know y'all excited. Everybody should by this time be comfortable. You done found your favorite spot on the couch. I hope you got a cold adult beverage in your hand. I hope you gave the kids and the wife something to do so they can get out your way, big dog, so you can sit down and enjoy yourself. And you too, ladies. Send your husband out there to mow the grass to go run to the store, do something now if you need them to get out your way so you can sit back and watch your team do their thing. And so everybody enjoy yourself. Appreciate all those members that was in the building. Real quick, man, our dog, man, Mighty Miles Connor, man, holding us down as well, man. Shout out to Prospect of Precision Painting as well, man. So tap in with my dog, man. He's Atlanta-based, but, man, he will travel anywhere in the country, man. It's 2023, man. We got planes, trains, and automobiles. He can get to you. So shop and do business there, man. If you're looking for paint, drywall, restoration, all that type of thing. Man, my dog, man, our Eagles brethren, Jeff Walker was in the building today, man, holding us down for sure. We appreciate you. Sis was in the building. What's going on, Mrs. Boyce? The fam band was in the building as well. Mama, I love you. I appreciate you always holding us down as always. Man, brother-in-law was in the building as well. Shout out to you. My dog, Brother Red, No Votes to the Podcast, was in the building. As always, man, y'all tap in with my dog, man. Hip-hop, sports content. You like either of the two or you like both, that's the spot for you, man. Tap in with my dog, man. There's No Votes to the Podcast, man. Go ahead and give my dog a listen, man. Also, man, our dog, man, resident Chargers fan, Isaiah Holmes was in the building, man. Talking this talk as always, man. So, we love to see it, big dog. We appreciate you. I'm scrolling. It's 12:01. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all can say it with me at home because we say it every week. If I forgot to say your name, damn. Charge it to my head and don't charge it to my heart because we thinking about y'all, man. We appreciate all the love and support. We will be back on Wednesday, man. We ain't going to have no watchers because we ain't got nowhere else to be but in the lab cooking football flavor with the fam. And then other than that, man, y'all have fun. Y'all be safe. Y'all enjoy yourselves. We will see y'all Wednesday. Peace.